GAM đang đạt phong độ cực kỳ cao tại đấu trường VCS. 4 chiến thắng liên tiếp, trong đó có chiến thắng trước Á quân và đương kim vô địch, đang chứng tỏ năng lực vượt trội của binh đoàn áo vàng. Sức mạnh ấy chắc chắn sẽ tăng lên khi mà Zeros có thể sẽ quay lại đảm nhận vị trí đường trên cho màu áo vàng đen. GAM sẽ đối đầu Flash trong trận cuối cùng của lượt đi và là cơ hội cho hai đội giành lợi thế trong cuộc cạnh tranh top 4 trước khi lượt đi khép lại.
Team mình đã có chuỗi 4 trận thắng liên tiếp, cho nên là không khí trong đội bây giờ có thể nói là khá là tốt, và cũng có thể nói bọn mình đã sẵn sàng cho trận thi đấu cuối cùng của lượt đi.
Phong độ của GAM đang rất tốt nhờ vào sự ăn ý và khi thi đấu của họ, đặc biệt là người đi rừng và đường trên. Nhưng bộ đôi đường dưới của họ lại lộ ra rất nhiều điểm yếu và tụi mình sẽ cố giành lợi thế trước họ.
Bản thân thì mình nghĩ đường dưới của bọn mình đang trở nên ổn định hơn, nên là mình sẽ thi đấu mà đối thủ không thể nào tấn công cũng như khai thác được đường dưới của mình.
Team Flash có thể yếu thế hơn ở khu vực đường trên, nhưng đây có lẽ là điều không quá xa lạ với họ. Chỉ cần Slayer được farm đầy đủ và bắn khỏe trong giao tranh thì bất kỳ đối thủ nào cũng sẽ phải chào thua trước Optimus và đồng đội. Có thể Flash nói rằng họ biết thi triển những lối chơi khác nhau, nhưng chơi xung quanh xạ thủ vẫn là điều Flash làm tốt nhất ở thời điểm hiện tại.
Yulwei là người chơi có kỹ năng tốt, nhưng anh ta khá non ở vị trí AD. Trong trận đấu sắp tới em sẽ áp đảo đường dưới.
Khi chuyển từ vị trí mid xuống bot thì em cảm thấy gặp khó khăn về lượng tướng và kiến thức, nhưng ban huấn luyện đã giúp em khắc phục điều đó.
Ở trận đấu này thì mình sẽ đối đầu với một người đi đường giữa khá là non kinh nghiệm, và mình mong rằng là trận đấu này sẽ là trận đấu mà mình dùng nó để có thể sửa chữa những sai lầm mà mình đã mắc phải trước đó.
Theo em cảm thấy thì đường trên của Team Flash rất là có nhiều sơ hở, nên tụi em sẽ tập trung vào đó để khai thác và nhấn chìm Team Flash.
Có thể không ngoa khi nói rằng GAM đang sở hữu phong độ hủy diệt, nhưng nếu ngược dòng thời gian vào mùa giải trước, GAM cũng đã đánh bại Buffalo nhưng lại trượt chân khỏi top 4 vì những thất bại ngay sau đó. GAM mạnh mẽ nhưng không có nghĩa là hoàn hảo. Team Flash hiểu rằng họ cần ngăn cản một thứ gì đó điên rồ đang nổi lên tại VCS, vì nếu không, họ hoàn toàn có thể bị cuốn bay khỏi top 4 ngay sau đó.
Lối đánh của cả đội phụ thuộc vào ban huấn luyện và bọn em có thể đánh đa dạng chiến thuật. Trong trận đấu sắp tới mọi người sẽ thấy điều đó.
Team Flash muốn dồn tài nguyên cho đường dưới thì những đường đơn của họ phải tự lo cho họ trước đã.
Ban huấn luyện và tuyển thủ của bọn họ đang có quyết tâm chiến thắng khá là lớn, nhưng đây là trận cuối cùng của lượt đi. Bọn em rất muốn giành chiến thắng trong trận đấu này.
Bộ đôi đường dưới của họ rất là mạnh và đánh rất là hay, nên em sẽ đánh cẩn thận và hạn chế mắc sai lầm.
Bản thân mình hiểu rất rõ cách đi đường của Levi, và trong trận đấu này thì mình sẽ chỉ cho Yijin cách làm sao để có thể giành lợi thế trước anh ấy. Và với tài năng của Yijin thì chỉ cần anh ấy có được lợi thế thì bọn mình sẽ có thể giành chiến thắng trong cặp đấu này.
Chỉ một chiến thắng nữa thì GAM sẽ củng cố hơn cho vị trí top 4 của mình khi lượt đi kết thúc. Trái lại, quân đoàn Autobot sẽ làm tất cả để có thể ngăn chặn đối thủ cạnh tranh trực tiếp với mình. Đây không chỉ là trận chiến top 4 đơn thuần, mà nó còn là câu trả lời cho cuộc đối đầu của Optimus và GAM. Biết đâu đó, lần này sẽ có những bất ngờ thú vị.
Welcome back, everyone. I have no idea what they just talked about, but it certainly was hype, and I'm very sure we'll see a very nice series here. I'm Yulwei, usual color caster, and ahead of us lies one of probably the best series we've seen so far. That's at least what I hope. GAM is always very hyped to follow, and look at that lineup. Zeros is in this first series where he's eligible to play. He was banned for 6 best of 3s, and now 6 best of 3s are played. So Zeros is back in. Yoshino, one of the best performing players actually for the last week, was our player of the week, is out. A little bit sad about that as well. But yeah, we'll have to see what Zeros brings to the table. GAM has probably tried to bring in Zeros as their starting player. I expect them to look practiced, as they have probably scrimmed with Zeros before, and probably splitting scrim time between Yoshino and Zeros. As I'll very quickly catch up with Everyday, he is finally with us here, so just wait a second and we'll be complete again. Now we're complete with Everyday joining me. A little bit of internet problems once again coming in from Australia, but he's here to cover this series with us. Everyday, welcome back.
Glad to be back. Zeros is in, as I'm sure you've already mentioned.
Yes.
The returning hero of Vietnam.
Yeah, and we have to see if Zeros can live up to Yoshino's performances from last week especially, as Yoshino looked absolutely on fire.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a very high bar to hold Zeros to. Like, he's coming in, this will be his first game on stage for quite a while. He was banned for 6 best of 3s. So we'll have to see how he goes. Irelia banned out as well, so at the very least he won't have access to the same champion that Yoshino did so much of the work on. We are going to have to see where he goes, but we're going to start it off with a Lux pick. We're still on 9-13, so that's a good first pick.
And I really like this first pick, Lux. This is a flex pick actually for GAM. They have shown that Hugh is absolutely capable of playing Lux in the bot lane. We gave him an MVP for his Lux bot lane game. It's also Slay's most played champion down in the support position. Still unbeaten on the Lux this summer split, so I absolutely love the Lux priority. I've actually looked into pick and ban for GAM quite a little bit. Wanted to hone in on what they're actually playing around. And looking at their trends, I expect them to go for a pick for Hugh and Zeros in the next round. They seem to deprioritize Levi and Kiaya a lot.
Surely, I wouldn't be surprised to see Nico being picked up here. The Heimerdinger was banned away, sort of just the Hugh special. But with Nico open, that seems like the obvious pick. And so far, looks like 50% of your call was actually, that's probably not for Zeros now that I remember who's playing. That's almost certainly a mid lane Renekton.
Yeah, most played champ by far for Kiaya, with 4 Renekton games coming in. He's still 100% win rate on the Renekton as well, so absolutely no surprise that Renekton comes in. Interestingly, so far they didn't really prioritize Renekton, but I think they have finally called out that the enemy teams will adapt their draft and probably ban out the Renekton. So instead, now GAM goes to prioritize the Renekton and the jungle pick as well, not following in the trends I've spotted looking at last week's pick and bans. So interesting adaptation already from GAM.
Absolutely, and it looks like Flash will answer back by picking up Slater's most comfortable champion, that Kai'Sa. Vietnam, of course, loves this Void Lady that haunts me when my eyes are closed. That's not a joke. Check my Twitter. There's a good story about that. And we head into the second round of bans here. I think we should see GAM probably focusing on top laners, I imagine. I think you want to give Zeros the easiest way back in, because as I said, we'll repeat myself, dude's really, really good. Don't get me wrong. Dude's a very good player. But you're coming into a split halfway through. Everyone else has had a lot of games to play. You're probably a bit cold. So you don't want to throw him off the deep end.
Yep. By the way, Everyday, what do you think is the win rate for Slater's Kai'Sa this summer split so far?
Garbage, I imagine.
Yeah, it's only sitting at 25%. Only one of the 4 games he has played on his favorite champ. So far he has won, so not as successful as he was in Spring Split, where Kai'Sa was his by far most picked champ.
It's because he always goes Stormrazor.
Yeah.
But he almost always goes that Stormrazor start. I cannot stress enough how bad that is. Like, the only time it's okay is if you are specifically going like a massive early game comp where like we're just going to finish this game in 20 minutes. Then yeah, you can go Stormrazor then because it does spike harder. Other than that, it's just not good. But to look back at Champion Select, it was top lane focus coming out from Flash, actually. I thought GAM might try and pinch the top lane pool, but no, they pinched the support pool, which actually makes a lot of sense. Removed that Morgana, which is obviously a pretty big Lux counter, as well as that Thresh, who seems to be a bit of the Vietnam... Whoa.
Oh, this is Hugh on Lux, on Slay, on Volibear coming in.
Volibear.
Oh!
Oh, it's locked in! The bear is in!
Or is it actually top lane bear for Zeros? Imagine he comes back to the VCS and dominates. No, it's Renekton. Okay. Will we
Absolutely.
actually see Kiaya on his first real mid lane champion?
Maybe.
To reiterate that point, so far, Kiaya, the listed mid laner for GAM, has played 4 games of Renekton, a game of Aurelia, Yasuo, Jace, Kled, and Aatrox. Not a single AP champ, not a single traditional mid lane champion. So, Yasuo, you could say, is a mid lane champion.
True. And,
And
Rumble
look at
being
what
picked up
Flash
close
has
is
once
out.
again assembled in the top side. That looks eerily familiar.
Yep. I think there's a name for it. Hold on a minute. No way, Zeros. You're not coming back after being banned for 6 best of 3s and going Ignite Teleport. He's just coming in and balling it. I mean, yeah, but it's not running Flash in professional play.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a head scratcher.
Bold. That's so bold.
Oh man, if he comes back into the VCS and ints his ass off in game 1, that's not a great look, especially when Yoshino sits behind him and it's like, okay, you can just sub me back in and then you will probably win, because I win every lane. Look at the following. Oh, GAM with a lot of fans now.
This team is so exciting. I love watching GAM. I mean, we're going to have to see how they look. I mean, my favourite part of the resurgent GAM was Yoshino. Dude looks so good. Dude was so clean. Obviously not in this week. Has been given the bench in favour of the Zeros coming back in, as we've said a few times. So going to have to see if he can live up to it. And I mean, how do you stamp your way back onto league than going Ignite TP Renekton?
I guess he wants to get more solo kills than Yoshino got against Reizo last week.
Yep.
So that's a tall order. But I'm actually most hyped in this first game about the bot lane matchup. Look at that. That's some craziness coming out. Lux, Volibear for GAM. Oh, Zero's changed back to Flash. So no worries. He's not as crazy. I mean, he's still super crazy, but he's not as crazy as it looked like.
Yeah, and there is the bear. Now, I used to live with the guy. He wasn't good at League of Legends. He didn't play ranked. In fact, he just didn't want to play ranked because he didn't enjoy the atmosphere. Fair enough. But if he did play ranked, he probably would have been in silver. He wasn't very good. But if he only played Volibear, probably would have been in diamond. So I've played with a lot of Volibear.
That's a scary champ. That
it is.
W damage is ridiculous.
That bot lane, if you get hit by a Lux Q, it's going to be a bear coming at you real fast. Real fast.
The strong thing about Volibear support is his almost undodgeable Q, because you can't really see anything. He can just flash Q on you and you don't have any reaction time. It's faster than Malphite ultimate. That's very scary. I think they will probably try to do that to CBL. Oh, wow.
Oh, that's a huge mistake. Jeez, Levi looking very rusty. Also, he's building wrong.
Is he?
You don't start Talisman on release, you start Machete. It's much better. It's actually just statistically better. This is Levi doing me a bit of a heckin' confuse early on here. I'd love to know his logic behind starting Talisman. I play a little bit of Elise, so I'd love to know why he's done that. I think Machete's better in pretty much 100% of circumstance, but...
That being said, it will probably not matter too much for Elise, right? Because he clears the jungle anyway super fast.
No, it won't matter, but I am just curious why they've made that decision. But as you very correctly point out, it's not going to matter.
And are we actually in the VCS here? Look at the mid lane matchup. That's some LCK stuff going on.
Yeah, that is some absolute resident sleeper. Observers don't even bother looking at that lane. Nothing is going to happen. Minions are going to die. It's going to be an absolute horrible day for minions. They're not coming home. A lot of minions are going to lose their mums and dads, and that's tragic. But that truly is the tragedy of League of Legends. Sometimes Azir Corki gets picked, and they don't do anything for 45 minutes.
Yeah, we had two very slow games in the first series of the day, with QG coming out on top in very convincing fashion. Still very slow games. And we don't expect the same to happen, especially whenever GAM is on the Rift. I think we'll see a lot of top lane focus. They've picked the most prominent top lane dive combination in Elise and Renekton, and they're against a very easy to dive champ in the Rumble. So, oh wow, Yijin, nicely done.
Very well calculated, big brain.
Well, he's spotted, so this gank shouldn't work out if they don't run head first into the Nautilus.
Ooh, never mind. Hugh, there's just nothing he can do about that. Locked up, used his flash, which was not the best decision.
Yeah,
Had to either flash the hook or not flash at all. But that will be first blood claimed here for Yijin. That's an accelerated Silas. That's a scary thing.
And full vision, they still fall prey to the
gank. Play moves forward here. Yijin actually hadn't left. Ooh, that was a little bit dangerous, but going anywhere near a Volibear with his passive up with no ignite, don't even bother.
Yeah, he'll not die. That being said, on level 3 you might still be able to burst him down, but yeah, it's not easy, especially if his Aftershock is available. Look at this again, Yijin spotted, Hugh and Slay back off. Oh yeah, very nicely coordinated. I actually, yeah, I guess Hugh should have flashed, but it's not as appalling as I thought it was. It looked way worse the first time I saw the play, but there was a lot of coordination coming in from Yijin and CBL to lock down Hugh in this case.
He had a fraction of a second where he definitely could have flashed, but it was an incredibly difficult flash. The problem is he should have realized that he was dead.
Yeah, he should have not flashed afterwards, that's for sure.
Not flashing afterwards was the really egregious part to me. Getting caught there, that wasn't necessarily Hugh's fault, it was just a really good play out of Flash. It's not a huge amount he could.
Yeah, I would agree.
But him not having his flash makes that bot lane's job a little bit harder, because obviously you don't necessarily want to go for as much aggression when you are lacking a flash, which means going for that flash flip is a very dangerous prospect down there. But
that said, their 2v2 is actually not really weakened by the first play, because the kill went over to Yijin. Only a little bit of gold over to Slater, who is building the wrong items, by the way. We can stop with a little bit of a check-in later on. But
don't worry, I'm already talking to the studio. We've got something prepared.
Nice. But yeah, I think the Lux and Volibear 2v2 is actually not hurt at all by this first gank, and they should still be able... Levi? What's going on with Levi's Elise mechanics? Not great. Yeah, they should still be able to go for 2v2 kills. That was what I wanted to say, and then Levi disturbed me with some non-existent Elise mechanics.
Yeah, Levi, he's looking a little bit shaky to start off today. Of course, none of these, we're noticing a few little mistakes Levi's making. None of them matter. But, he's looking a bit shaky. We should have a look at the top lane as well. Taurus is having a bad time.
Yeah, it has to be expected, right?
Yeah. But they opted into this matchup. They had last pick, and they last picked Rumble.
Yeah, they wanted to pick for composition, which, I mean, considering they already have had 2 AP threats on the top side secured, that's not the greatest pick for composition. There weren't really that many good AD champs available. Jace was banned out, Irelia was banned out. You don't want to play Camille into Renekton.
Here it comes. The flash is already burned. Equalizer comes out. That's pretty good. Levi eating a lot of damage, but Renekton Elise, it kills you.
Yeah, and that was not even the strong point from Renekton Elise. Normally, the Elise wants to get first turret aggro to reset with a repel. This time, Renekton just ran in there.
Yijin, there's a bear coming at you, And Kiaya will get that kill. Oh dear.
Oh man, and Yijin so over-aggressive. No control on the bot lane. Mid lane had priority for the side of GAM. Very unnecessary invade and gets punished. He wasn't even level 6, so he couldn't even steal. Okay, that was not a great ult to steal, to be fair, so that didn't really matter. That's ult,
that
yay.
gives him an extra passive pro. Oh no, Taurus just getting repeat ganked instantly. Will go down again. Levi gets that second kill. Taurus,
yeah, that's not a whole lot he can do. That's what why I absolutely hate Rumble top into Renekton. It's actually an okay matchup in the 1v1. You can hold the waves most of the time. You don't lose too many platings if you just 1v1 all the time. But it's so easy to dive and gank with a Renekton. Targeted stun. Rumble not the tankiest champion ever, especially without his ult. He can't really do a whole lot.
Yeah, I think picking. I almost think there was a bit of a misread, but then again, they'd seen the Corki, so I don't even think it was a misread. Picking Rumble into Renekton isn't terrible if it's not an early game jungler, as you alluded to, but you already saw that it was going to be Elise Renekton.
Do you think they anticipated the Volibear top? Wait, what?
No. I'm taking that. Oh my god.
That's disgusting.
That's
Riot, please.
That's not in the bush.
That's disgusting.
I don't blame Riot for this one. Your cursor changes color when you're hovering over the bush. So
I mean, fair enough, but it's still kind of ridiculous. It's stealth in the bush, but it's not in the bush.
Yeah, I mean, that does look like it's in the bush. But
definitely does. Oh, Taurus, you're dead. Oh, no, actually not.
No, he is dead. Ooh, Levi misses that, though, and now a teleport's coming in. Zeros is a little bit low here. Equalizer's down. Azir gets that punt back, and ooh dear, it all might be coming a little bit undone. But here comes the bear. Gets that. Oh, he doesn't actually get the toss, but the Thunderclaws come in. The package comes in as well. Optimus taking so much damage. Taurus will go down first. That's 3 deaths for him. He's having a shit one. Get out of here, mate. The turret will be pushed pretty hard.
Yeah. And you could hear the excitement in Everyday's voice there. That's a Volibear for you. But you is in a lot of trouble. But there's the TP coming in. Good flash this time.
Could be out of my time.
Yijin, you're dead, bro.
Ooh, wow. Yep, Yijin's just dead. Oh, hello. How the... Okay.
That was surprising.
Why did Zeros
not try to commit there?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Also, just want to put it out there, Slay currently opting for a little bit of a LeBlanc-ish build here with his summoners. Has gone Hex Flash. Very reminiscent of the meta LeBlanc build.
Yeah, trying to tease the enemy mid laner there. Optimus, the notorious offender, with his Hex Flash on various mid lane champs that actually don't do anything with the Hex Flash.
Should never ever use Hex Flash.
We can confirm. By the way.
We can confirm that this game he has managed to not take Hex Flash.
Yeah, that's great.
Just a normal flash for him.
I think Hex Flash Azir is when you need to get benched.
Yeah, so, at that point.
Nice for him that he avoided that one.
Yep, but it will be Mountain Drake here, almost certainly secured. He might have a problem with this. What?
Oh man, Yijin is tilted. Yijin is... Yeah, that was the E. That was lingering there forever.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Just pull it forward, man. Come on. What is happening? Like, Yijin just wishing he was back in prison. Demacia was better than this, but Hugh will go down. Speaking of... Oh, no!
Flash!
CBL! Flash, what is going on?
Oh man, and now they have lost the Rift Herald on the top side, while Kia is already working on the turret. The Rift Herald will secure the first turret.
Get the fun wigs, get the face paint. It's a clown fiesta. This is a little bit interesting so far. That's so much gold in the pocket of Kia. He's so heavily accelerated. 2 kills and that first brick.
Oh, Hugh didn't even try to steal that one. The E just ran out and automatically applied the damage.
He threw a Q over to try and steal it, and I reckon he was sitting there going, "Wait, what? What?" But got it with the E. Oh, Yejin.
And that's a Mountain Drake that's super impactful for GAM. The second Mountain Drake will actually give them a very, very good Baron threat. They're on blue side, so struggling a little bit against especially Taurus with his ultimate there.
Yeah.
But still, it's 2 Mountain Drakes with Elise, who's super good at taking Baron. They have an ADC in Kiaya, doing a lot of Baron damage as well.
Yep, absolutely. This is very much a comp that can take Baron. That as you said, Mountain Drake, pretty huge. Do please check out my change.org petition that in support of the Big Purple Worm. The Dragons have had say over whether he lives and dies for far too long, and I'm sick of it, if you ask me. But regardless,
that one.
hasn't gone yet.
By the way,
hasn't gone through yet.
I'd like to hear a little bit about the Kaiser build. Can we check in?
Oh yes. Yeah. Sorry. I'm just As you mentioned it, Studio's just talking to me. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay, guys. It's time for everyday Kaiser build check-in here. I'm everyday, and we're checking in on Kaiser builds. Now, if you have a look at Slater, press the attack. But he's built Stormrazor. You shit. That's it. That's everyday's check-in on Kaiser builds. I'm everyday, and we've checked in on a Kaiser build, and it's shit.
I think your check-ins get harsher and harsher every time.
I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of it. I'm getting so tilted.
Fair enough.
Why do they keep doing this to me?
Especially in these lanes, where Tier would be absolutely free. I really don't understand the build.
I'm so tilted. Why do you need to spike now, Slater? What are you doing with your spike?
Yeah,
nothing.
He does not need to spike now. Absolutely not. You don't want to teamfight the Corki right now. That's a very scary prospect, especially with Optimus sitting on a bunch of nothing.
Yeah, I think it is. Look, I don't sit here. Oh god, never mind. I'll come back to the point. And Zeros actually looked for an engage there. Realized Slater. I mean, he is spiking now, so a little bit of a dangerous engage. So maybe the Stormrazor was worth it because it meant Zeros couldn't go in right then. We obviously knew that was coming.
Good
but as I was saying,
Slater.
I don't like accusing pro players of being wrong, but in this case they are objectively wrong. Speaking of being objectively wrong,
Zeros play. Nicely done.
Yep. That was Zeros tried to salvage something, but work out.
Well,
did not work out at all.
Everyone else in the team has already worked on other turrets, so in the end it's still a net plus for GAM in terms of gold, accelerating the gold lead to 2k. Looking good in the mid game. So far, I think Zeros' starting spot has not really been warranted. Good early game dice around the top lane, but I think Yoshino could have done exactly the same. So I'm still Team Yoshino. Team Yoshino.
I mean, I completely agree. Zeros is a complete scrub. Bring back my boy Yoshino. He won my heart with the way he played. He's my favorite player in the entire world. In all seriousness, you are right. Like, Zeros hasn't had a particularly good game. Like, he's 0-2 and 2. He's not. I mean, he's been playing fine. He could have gotten either of the kills that were gotten up on Taurus. If things had gone slightly differently, he might have 2 kills. So he hasn't played terribly. I do think part of that is just he's been out for 6 games.
Yeah,
we do have a bit of a rumble here. Yejin threw himself forward, but I'm not really sure if he wanted it. Has stolen the volley barrel, but there's Hugh coming in with the laser. Oh, good snipe there by Slater. Hello. Picks up the kill on the back. Kiaya manages to get away with that Valkyrie, and Hugh picking up the double kill. Kiaya will get one as well, as now 3 are down. The retreat is called. Taurus with a flash to get away from that Q, I should say.
Wow,
And,
Team once again showing his prowess on the Lux. We gave him the MVP when he played botlane Lux last time. He absolutely dominated team fights and once again showing very good control over the battlefield. Securing 2 kills and a turret will snowball into a dragon as well, so more objectives to GAM. Flash falling further and further behind.
Yeah, absolutely. Flash needs to tighten up their play. I don't think there was any reason to engage there. I just don't think you're ever winning it. Fighting Lux in a corridor like that is basically asking to die.
But even with Slay getting caught out here, look at Slay. He did absolutely he actually blocked the E from
Well, he
Legion
blocked
there,
that
so
for
nice.
Yeah,
that's true.
but the Thunderclaws are doing a lot of damage here, even though he only gets a couple of autos off. And then you're in a corridor against Lux, not where you want to be. Great snipe by Slater to at least get something back.
Very
but...
good flash from Kiaya, while Optimus completely botched his ult, so Kiaya got out of there. Another kill from Hugh, secured on the backside. Wait, what was that? Something happened there in the replay?
There was a turret taken.
Ah, yeah.
I'm not sure. Something else happened? I'm not sure. So, I mean, also, one thing that I don't know is how good is the volley bear ult on Silas?
Not great.
Not really sure. As
he
Slay
just
goes
activated
into...
it, so now look at this damage from Yijin. Yeah, that was nothing.
He's got to get some autos off. Yeah, no, that didn't do much there. To be fair, though, he didn't exactly get to auto-attack during it. But, CBL and Slater taking so much damage here. Will this only be 1 kill? Probably. I don't think Kiaya is going to be able to attack. Spider-Naut just a little bit too quick. Slater, I don't think you really want to stop for red buff at the moment.
Oh, wow, Kiaya forced another flash. Slater had to flash away there. Nicely done. Good chase from Kiaya. 4-0, quietly going very far.
Yeah, going pretty huge. Yeah, really huge mistake there by Slater. He stopped for red buff. He orb walked it a little bit, but like he's not a bot. He's not scripting, so he wasn't orb walking and not losing any speed. I feel like that was really dumb.
Yeah, and he lost his flash for that. Another game where Slater on the Kaiser doesn't look too great. He might have to change up his pick or more, or even better, his build on the Kaiser.
Yeah, he just needs to tighten his play up. I mean, the dude obviously knows what he's doing on Kaiser. He's played a lot of it. He's a good player. One of the better ADCs in the league. But really, really needs to have a bit of a think about what he's doing. Not sort of... I mean, one of the big things with these Kaiser builds, and I know we joke and we meme about it, and obviously I've got a bit of a bit going, but it's a lot because people are stuck in their ways. They go, okay, well, back when Kaiser was really strong, you built Stormrazor because Stormrazor was ridiculous on it. And yeah, that's true, but that was also months ago.
Yeah, it's very sad that so many players seem to be not adapting to the new build, which is objectively better. It's just stronger in terms of statistics, and there is not the biggest incentive to not go for this build, but look at this.
No, and
Optimus, way too
coming
early.
in here. Oh, Optimus, that was so early, but Kiaya actually might have bitten off a bit more than he can chew. He used the package to get some distance, but Slater did well following with that ult. Zeros now trying to chase down onto Yijin, but they're not going to catch him, so that might just be mid laner for mid laner.
And a big shutdown going over to Slater.
Good trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Good trade for Flash. Slater now 3-0, including a pretty big shutdown, so he's actually got a fair bit of money in his pocket.
Looking back at the last team fight, do you remember what the Lux changes were in the 9.14, which is not the patch we are playing on, but looking ahead for the next week?
I'm going to be honest, I actually haven't read a huge amount of the Lux patch notes. I've been
they
playing
actually
TFT.
buffed the Lux ult damage, and that's a good thing for GAM.
Zeros didn't actually get the auto off there, so it came down to Slayer to catch him. And sorry, was there a Yijin? Was he there? Because he didn't last very long. That's how the jungler picked up.
That will be even more atrocious in the next patch when Lux ult gets buffed. Other parts of Lux kit will get heavily nerfed, so she'll probably not see too much play, especially not in the support position. But her AP build might still be very strong, full AP.
Yeah, I agree. I think she might still get some mid lane play if you need like a safe artillery mage.
Bot lane if you shoot, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I think Hugh will absolutely keep playing, but this is Baron going down so quickly here. Goes for the steal, but will not thwart the smite of Levi. Zeros runs forward, does have to get Nautical assaulted by CBL to save the Rumble. No kills in the end, but a Baron secured here for GAM, and
Yeah,
my
that was
word, are they looking
surprisingly easy for them. They
Yeah.
didn't really have to do a whole lot to get the Baron.
I almost think
Hugh
they
with very good zoning once again on the Lux.
I feel like they were more playing towards the Baron bait and they wanted to turn for a fight, but Flash just never got through their lines. Oh, the E's down, Yijin. Watch out! No, gets the smite this time.
Yeah, a
No.
little bit late on the Mountain Drakes. Baron has already gone down, so Mountain Drake doesn't really know what its purpose is in this game anymore.
It
He has
just spawned out of
already...
spite.
Yeah. He has already betrayed his Baron friend, so nothing more to do for the Mountain Drake.
Ooh, Levi. Nowhere to repel to. Oh, never mind.
He's dead.
Sure, yeah, he can't get out here. That's not great. What is... What?
Yeah. I had the same
Optimus?
reaction in my head. I was like, what? Why?
I love the missing
That's weird.
ping coming out from GAM on that
Yeah,
teleport.
that's great.
Did you really need to call reinforcements? Like for a court jungler? I don't know about that one. He's just going B! What an awful teleport! What was that?
That was not great. And they lost
They
a lot of
just
turret
immediately said-
HP in the
Yeah,
top
they're
lane.
gonna lose an inhib. They're gonna lose the inhib turret. They won't lose the actual inhib, but the turret's gone, and they're not gonna catch Kiaya either. He's gone.
Yeah,
if he wants
that was a very sad passage of play. They actually lose the inhibit turret without having to give it up, I think.
No, absolutely not. If Optimus had just stayed in base.
Yeah, exactly. Optimus
Like,
actually
I
with a
don't-
very low damage build on the Azir here, with no penetration secured. The Luden's Echo, more of a wave clear choice than a real teamfight item, so this Azir is actually not as strong as you might think, with 3 or 2.5 items secured. On the other side,
Yeah,
the Corki on a very low DPS item spike as well, not going for the IE second. So he's looking
No.
for burst with this build.
Yeah, that he is, and also RFC also does help for tower taking,
Yeah.
obviously, because you do get those one big smacks onto towers whenever it charges up.
Yeah, and
which
long
is-
range burst is super dangerous for him. He can go ult Q, long range auto attack with Trinity proc, and maybe even crit from RFC. So yeah, that's the
Yep.
play pattern for this Corki, not the usual DPS Corki.
Yeah, and that will be the mid lane inner secured here. GAM looking a little bit unstoppable here. Flash sort of needs to draw a line in the sand at some point, or they're just gonna like keep losing more and more, as they are now down 6k gold here at 25 minutes, which again not an insurmountable lead, but it's very, very convincing.
Yeah, it's already very hard to come back from. I really like what Slater has done with his item build. He goes for full crit. So at least he has a little bit of the late game scaling still coming in. Well, Zeros is caught out
Yeah,
once
well,
again.
here's the fight here. He is caught out, but his team's rotated in very quickly to help him out, so I don't think he's going to get punished. Loses a stopwatch in his ult, but I think they
Whoa.
might get the inhibitor. Whoa, oh, wow, Taurus just barely surviving. Yijin's going to go down. Never mind, actually manages to get away. The inhibitor, however, is not so lucky, nor is Zeros. That's an inhibitor for Zeros's life. I don't think he's going to complain too loud about that one.
No. Look at the assertiveness Hugh shows on this pick. Flashing
He's fine.
forwards without Aftershock available, so this is a very risky This is not the support Lux that's not important to your team, only looking for picks. This is the carry Lux from the bot lane. Flashing forwards, looking for the burst on Taurus, almost sniped them out there, forced them away, so almost as good. Whoa, Slater!
Wow. Ooh, Slater taking so much damage. He just goes down.
he lost his
Yijin's
mind
now
there.
having to run. Just an absolute Bonobo moment.
is
To
that?
borrow an NA term. This is very bad. Zeros has just teleported in, by the way, just going in and doing so much damage here to CBL. Yijin tries to do something in the end there, but gets picked up by the bear. Taurus now getting absolutely destroyed by Zeros, taking so much damage, uses the ult for wave clear, which, I mean, might buy them a little bit of time. Obviously, Baron buff has expired. Optimus has to flash away. Look at this angry animal parade. There's a spider. There's a spider, a croc, and a bear coming at you. It's almost looking like the Australian outback. As Optimus can't enter his own base, he's going to be taking a trip to the death chamber.
Oh! The VM!
The VM!
Nicely done, Slay.
Why not spam dance? Come on. Get that spam dance going, but wow.
The stacking rock from the beer is nice as well, so there.
This is a little bit of destruction here by GAM here in Game 1, putting their mark on this series.
Absolutely. Look at the gold lead. It's 28 minutes in, so usually Flash's games would be over by now. They have the shortest average game time at 28:01. But they would wish for a longer game in this one.
Yeah, maybe
really
if it goes to 5, they have a chance. But GAM looking a lot more... I mean, one of the criticisms we've had of GAM is that they do sometimes look a little bit lost in the mid-game. I wouldn't say they have this time.
Nope.
They've looked absolutely assertive. They've gone in, just constant aggression.
Their Baron play was clean. I think Flash gifted the Baron over to them, but I mean, GAM can't really influence that part, right? So the Baron call was good. They wanted to actually turn off the Baron and go for a team fight, but Flash just gifted them the Baron, so they said, okay, well, we take that as well. If you don't want to win this game, I guess we will take the win.
Yeah, like, what happened, Flash? Did you bet on us or something? And it was like they will set up for another Baron here, being very thorough. I like to see that, just going over, making sure that blast cone is gone. And Baron is going to absolutely melt here. It's already down to 4,000 health. Yijin, you got to throw yourself in, but he misses the E. He gets bound up, and the laser's in. Zap, zap, down goes. Oh! Oh!
No, Levi! You have Smite available! What just happened? Taurus stole away the Baron with a tick of Equalizer. Wow. GAM wants to play serious, it seems, so throwing away the second Baron after the Flash gifted them the first one will help, making this series more interesting, especially looking at Slay's items. Finally hitting 50%
Can I just put it out there? Can you imagine how good that feels to watch as Optimus after they BM'd you that hard?
Yeah.
And then your top laner steals away the Baron. You'd almost be standing up, and I think there might be a certain gesture being thrown across the room there, and I don't think it involves too many fingers.
Yeah, I think overall GAM is still probably in the driving seat here. Looking at Kiaya's items, he's still super strong.
Yeah. That is a window back into the game. Stealing a Baron's obviously super powerful. But I just don't think Flash can do anything with it.
Yeah, there's
so it's going to come down
2 inhibitors down, so...
Precisely.
GAM shouldn't have the biggest trouble closing out the game.
Yeah, it'll take them a little bit longer now.
Yeah. Levi, you should know the timer on that one.
Yeah.
Levi has looked a little bit off today on this Elise game.
Yeah.
It has not been horrible, but some mechanics looked a little bit... Ooh, and now Zeros. Where did you go?
Oh. Nope. There he is. He's back. Oh, Slay running in at the speed of light. The bear wants blood, but he's not going to find much. Actually, it's chunked out pretty hard there. That was a good stopwatch for enough time.
I think Hugh might have been able to kill CBL there.
Maybe.
Not sure. Maybe the damage was not high enough, but I thought CBL was dead. Got caught by the light binding, and the ult was up for Hugh. Level 16, so level 3 ult.
I mean, you're lucky, may as well,
there.
right?
Yeah.
As well, it's got such a short cooldown. Like, we should really be seeing just that ult just fired off. as much as really possible. Things got a ridiculously short cooldown. Oh no, it's a pause.
GAM and pauses. No, actually, DBL and pauses is more of the iconic
Yeah,
duo
DBL.
here. Ugh. Let's hope it's not too long. Looking at the game state right now, GAM is probably waiting for the next two objectives to spawn. There's an Infernal Drake, and then eventually maybe a Baron for them again, if Levi decides to smite this time. I like the interference for Zeros. He actually, I think, completely thwarted the engage from Yijin on the other side. His jungler was not competent in that particular case.
Exactly.
Zeros a little bit tired, looks like.
Yeah, just rubbing those eyes there. Maybe he's not used to staring at a screen for so long since he's been out, but
He looks
I'm sure he's
thin.
been having...
What happened to him? He needs to eat a little bit more.
Yeah, Mama Yulwei, very concerned.
I mean, look at those hands. He's not
Yeah.
the one playing Elise. He should not have those fingers.
It's true. It's very true. Speaking of playing Elise here, hopefully we see Levi tighten the play up a little bit. And this should be the replay of this Baron steal. May as well watch it while we wait. Yijin, not the best angle on that E. He just goes down. And was it just the equalizer?
Yeah.
Yep.
Was just the
Yep.
equalizer. No smite coming in. No idea why Levi would not smite there. It's probably not a great call to delay your smite for the team fight, because you have the red smite. That's not worth it. Your smite will
No.
come back up off cooldown, so... Ugh.
Yeah,
Delaying
not
the
the
game a
best
little
play
bit. What is Flash now what will Flash now try to do? Optimus so far in this game had a very quiet Azir game. I don't really like his item build. I'd like to see more of the 3-item power spike. This is more of a full late game build for him. Slater has a lot of crit secured. There is a world where Flash wins team fights, but it's pretty hard to imagine, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, but the world definitely exists, and I think it hinges on catching Kiaya out in fights, which is incredibly difficult to do, and also not being caught by any light bindings. Again, very difficult in a team fight because Hugh just does such ridiculous damage.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially, I think he's working on the Rabadon's death cap right now. Once that comes in, you'll probably be able to one-shot anyone that gets caught by light bindings. And level 16 Lux ult, we are still on 9.13, so the cooldown reset is still active. That means whenever he gets one kill on the ult, he's probably able to ult 2 times in one team fight, and that's scary.
Yep.
That's super scary.
Absolutely terrifying. They have you have to be super careful with where you take these fights. You really don't want to. Unless we're going to watch the same replay again. Not sure what additional insight we could find.
Slow down on the Baron. Yeah, that's
Yep.
just unforgivable. Levi too greedy. Wanted to secure it with the Q, execute damage. I mean, usually that's a fine play, right? But there's really no reason to go for this risk.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the equalizer. So.
Yeah. You can either wait for the equalizer to abate, or go for a smite, maybe, or just I don't know. So many possibilities. He went for the worst possible choice, risking everything on a little bit of execute damage. Didn't work out for him. Definitely didn't work out for him.
Absolutely. So, hopefully this pause isn't too long. I'd love to know what the issue is. Might be Levi's punched his monitor. Never know.
Like
or someone's
the zone
punched.
yeah, he's good at punching.
Yeah, or maybe one of his teammates has punched Levi for not smiting. Of course
That would
not.
be absolutely fair. I don't think he should pause for that one.
Don't hit your teammates, kids.
And
Just
look at
just
Levi,
flame.
and then look at Zeros' arms. I don't think a punch from Zeros would do anything to Levi, to be honest. So. And look at Kiaya as well. So no, I don't think Levi has to be too scared of his teammates punching him.
I think when we eventually become the official cast, we'll have to arrange a bit of a fight club for the VCS teams. That's how we do side select for the playoffs. Whoever wins in an arm wrestle.
Oh man, poor teams having to face GAM.
Oh yeah, no, you don't want to face the absolute rig that is Levi. I'm hoping this goes ahead at some point. I do wonder what's wrong.
Yeah, we have not
Fairly
seen
long.
an official confirmation on stage. Usually we get a little bit of an information box there, showing us what the issue actually is. Slater very concentrated on what's going to happen next. What do you think of Flash's individual players in this game after they disappointed against Low-Key last week?
I mean, they're looking
recovered a bit?
They're looking a lot better than they did against Low-Key. I mean, if you look at their individual scores, no one's going particularly badly. Like, I think Taurus is negative, but I don't think the kills that he gave up in lane were really his fault. I mean, I think there's actually a pretty real world where Flash clawed this one back. It's not likely, but I mean, Elise and Renekton are going to fall off.
Very true.
So, I mean, potentially we start seeing them win fights. Of course, that's hard against Lux and Corki, but, you know, it's possible.
Yeah, I think Corki is probably the most crucial member of the whole game right now. If Kiaya is able to show us a good Corki performance, I don't really see Flash winning team fights. They have a very hard time catching up to the Corki. I mean, what ult can Salas steal to really do anything against him? Renekton ult doesn't really do a whole lot. Elise ult is absolutely useless. Corki ult, I mean, nice damage, but whatever. And then Lux, yeah, Volibear is not great either. I think actually Volibear might be a niche support pick into Silas, because he doesn't offer anything as a support in terms of ultimate, which is very unusual. Usually you play against something like Nautilus, and then you're facing a full AP Nautilus ult, which is scary. Or even worse, Alistair giving the Silas 7 seconds of almost invincibility.
Yeah, I mean, he may as well be untargetable when he's got that Alistair ult going. Or things like Morgana, obviously.
Yeah.
Very scary when they're coming out of Silas, but...
And then there are the Thunderclaws that are... I mean, in teamfight tactics, they can be great. You can actually play Brawler.
Yeah, Brawlers are really strong. Yeah, they're super strong at the moment. You go Rapid Fire Cannon Volibear, it's a hyper carry.
Yeah. Volibear is a lot of fun in teamfight tactics.
Absolutely. Teamfight tactics is a lot of fun.
I don't know. I'm too bad at that game.
I really like it.
Legends.
Fair enough. I mean, I like to play League of Legends as well. But what I like even more is to cast some good League of Legends. So hopefully we keep going. No more tech pauses here. We need to see. I actually think GAM really needs to put the pedal to the metal here. I don't think they can screw around for much longer because I think
will be very, very telling. I think if Flash is able to get the next Baron, they might be the favorites to win this game, actually. I still think Corki is a really big problem for them. They don't have a diver on the top lane. Silas will not be able to deal 1v1 with this Corki, especially looking at his itemization. I absolutely love the Maw of Mortis. That will mean Silas does absolutely nothing to him. So, yeah. I guess there's a chance for Flash. I still give the overall advantage over to GAM.
Yeah, I definitely do, just because they do still have the lead. But I think it's such a difficult thing to call. I think this game is super dependent on the next time the teams clash. And we assume that will be around the Baron.
Or Elder, actually.
Or Elder, yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's another
So-
problem Flash faces right now. They only have one Elemental Drake, so the Elder for Baron trade is not viable for them. Oh, that's another tilter.
Kiaya. Tilting. Just such a tilting game. How many steals has there been in this game? Major and minor. It's been a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah, it already started with a weird invade thing going on.
Yeah, it's both teams having to play so hesitant here. But in the end, I think basically Kiai is almost the only person that matters on the map.
I'd like to see Levi invest his vision wards actually to clear out the vision first, and then as re-establish vision wards around Baron. Right now, you have perfect vision on Baron. You don't need that particular pink ward right there. So please just use your remaining pink wards, and then once you actually approach the Baron, you can re-pink the pit. But you don't need to have it pinged all the time.
Ooh, CBL flashes over the wall, puts his ult down on Kiaya. This is a little bit over aggro as he just goes into the stopwatch. Slay, though, caught out in the front line. Should have that passive to start ticking him up. Never mind, it must have been burnt. Yejin gets a little bit caught here, goes into the stopwatch, but he's still deep, and he will go down. The jungler is dead here for Flash. That should mean Baron.
Yeah. And look at the timing for Elder. That means Elder is available when Baron buff is still there for GAM. So this should be smooth sailing for them. Go for one inhibitor, turn for the Elder Dragon, extend your buffs, and create a time where you always have at least one big buff. Look at Slater.
That's actually a really huge play. He wins that. This is really, really big. He goes down in exchange, but you're happy with that trade. Optimus as well coming flying in. Picks up Slay, and he's going to push forward here, but he's a little bit far forward now. Goes into the stopwatch, but Zeros is just going to stand next to him. The flash is good. Zeros answers and picks him up. This is a bit of a bloodbath, a really disjointed fight. Hugh flashing forward. Gets CBL into that fighting. Really well done. Taurus misses the equalizer entirely. Come on, mate. You meant to equalize, not miss completely. That, in the end, is a 3 for 2, but those are really important kills. Kill, I should say. Kiaya is dead.
Hugh has the teleport available, and he will teleport to the top lane to push on this mini wave, apply Baron buff here as well. So they want to go for the 2 inhibitors. They should be able to secure those 2, especially as Taurus and Yejin seem to not be too keen on contesting. Oh, I don't like this from GAM. I don't think they can finish.
Yeah, no, I don't
Kiaya has
think
TP.
so.
Maybe they are actually able to finish.
Never mind. Yeah, with TP, yeah, they absolutely can, especially with the kills coming in. Taurus just barely gets onto the platform.
Nice.
Zeros goes down, but dies for the cause. They need to start hitting that Nexus. With Kiaya here, this should be game 1 pretty convincingly. I don't think you needed to go for that there, Kiaya. You could have just hit the Nexus, but in the end, doesn't matter. GAM do pick up a very messy, but they pick up game 1.
What a hype game to start out the second series, and look how happy all the crowd is. So many GAM fans here today in the stadium supporting their team. Zeros back in. They win the first game. Zeros was not the focal point, but GAM overall still looking like the better team. Flash fell behind too far in the early game. One bright moment with the Baron steal, and a few good single plays, especially from people like Slater.
Yep.
But overall, not enough to break GAM's winning streak. GAM looking at 5 straight series wins in a row, if they win this one here, tying Loki at 5 and 2. And they will play Loki later on this week, on Sunday. Second series on Sunday will be GAM against Loki. So GAM really has their... can themselves get to first place. If they win everything, they'll just be first place, right? They won against DBL already. Flash the next on the menu.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, based on how close that game was in the end, I still do think this bracket should live up to our expectations of being a bit of a slobber knocker. Because I think Flash can absolutely win game 2. That was very messy in the end. Both teams sort of just leaving it all on the rift, as you like to see. Potentially, should the early game go a little bit better for Flash, we could be going to game 3.
Yeah, well, I agree with that. I think overall the big advantage still lies with GAM. I think they showed that they're the better team. But one big blunder will not, at least in my opinion, is not enough to turn me against them. I think their overall strategy coming into pick ban is very sound. Their lanes are strong. They were still able to go for early game plays. And they even won the game while giving up one Baron. So usually you expect them to be more clean around the Baron and end the game in probably 28, 29 minutes. I'd expect GAM to, if nothing changes, I see GAM winning this one pretty handily in the second game as well.
Yep, absolutely possible. But if game's going to be as fun as that one was, I want to see 3. So come on, Flash, let's take us all the way. So, discussion we need to have. MVP?
Wow. That's a hard one.
See, this is where I think the MVP title that we use actually failed. Because I think the answer to who was the most valuable person on the Rift is Kaya. And I don't think there's a debate. But did Kaya play the best? I don't think so.
I'd like to give it to Hugh, actually. I think
Yeah,
he had a very
see,
clean
I
Lux
agree.
game.
I agree. I think Hugh played the best, but I think Kaya was more important because he was playing. But I still want to give you Hugh. I'm just pointing out that.
I understand what
MVP
you
is
want to
a little
say
bit of a
there.
misnomer. Yeah, I'm just clarifying for the audience. I know you understand. You're a very smart man, but in case sometimes I don't make sense. You're used to me going down my tangents, so yeah. But overall, I agree with giving the accolade to Hugh. He played a really good Lux game.
It's still good on Kiaya to be able to hold up to the pressure, right? He had the pressure of being having to perform and bring the DPS and team fights, and that's why a lot of the ADCs get a lot of MVPs, because in the end they are the people who bring the damage, and without damage you can't win the game, right? But the plays from Hugh, especially in the mid game, very assertive flashes, very good snipes, good teamfight control. In the end, I think he's deserving of getting the MVP here. The second
I completely
MVP,
agree.
and second time on Lux, getting the second MVP on our stream.
Yeah. I think he's certainly a very interesting player. Obviously, being in that bot lane but not playing ADCs. So, gonna have to see how that works out in the long run. Whether that's gonna get exploited.
Yep, GAM so far still holds true to their nature. Very strong solo laners, going for a safe bot lane that has some playmaking potential, but mostly is very sturdy in lane and not prone to being dived early on, so they can focus their attention around the top side. Worked out once again this game, once again the bot lane overperforming to expectations. You don't really need your bot lane to win the game as GAM, you just need them to not feed. And they're actually overperforming, so even better for them.
Yep. Absolutely.
But as you can see, we're heading into a little bit of a longer pause. There seem to be still some struggles going on stage. Hopefully we'll be back in 10 minutes and not in 40, like the last time we had this kind of a pause.
I'm so tired already. Please don't do that to me, VCS.
Yeah, let's hope they get it resolved this time a little bit faster. And let's come back in 9 minutes for the second game between GAM and Flash.
G'day everybody, we are tentatively back for Game 2 here of GAM versus Flash.
We have defeated the pause screen, which is more than we hoped for, I think.
Absolutely, it is definitely a bit scary there where the timer counts down and then they add more. Must be something going on the stage. Unfortunately, we have no way of knowing what, but if all goes to plan, we go into the game. Excuse me.
Yeah, that's his hype MVP. That's not for his play, that's just for his pick. So, nicely done, coach, for GAM. MVP to you, apparently. Yeah, he did absolutely nothing on the Volibears. That's really... yeah, look at his smirk. Slay knows. He didn't do anything.
Yeah, even having a laugh about it. That was not particularly well deserved, but well, whatever. Doesn't really matter. Who cares about the official broadcast MVP? Our MVP is what really matters. So we're always right, of course. Going into game 2, what do we think needs to change here for Flash if they want to take this one to GAM?
Early game, right? Early game needs to change. They need to be able to stand up to GAM. Don't pick triple AP topside. Don't pick an easily diveable top laner, especially. You already saw GAM wants to play around top lane. That's no surprise to anyone. They played around top lane with Yoshino. Now they're doing the same with Zeros. So try to secure a stable top laner. Maybe try to ban out the Renekton or even go for Renekton yourself. I think those are the most important parts.
Also worth noting, Nico was completely ignored last draft.
Yeah, that's very surprising.
Yeah, especially with how good Hugh is on that. I think, considering the Heimerdinger and Lux ban, I mean, you can say what you want about Hugh not playing ADCs and all of that, but he draws some bans.
Yeah, he's super valuable for GAM, and that's why he's still in the main lineup playing for GAM. His play is not even that important. He just has to kill minions, not die, and pull bans, and he's doing that perfectly, even playing well on top of that. Everything GAM would ever want from him.
Absolutely.
Look at the ban strategy for GAM. It has been the same for the first 2 games, with 2 bans on Slater and the Yuumi ban, so full bot lane focus, which is a little bit surprising.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to ban out the Kalista rather than the Kai'Sa. I think Slater will much sooner pick Kai'Sa, but maybe GAM thinks they can handle it. They pick up Renekton, which again is a very strong flex pick for them, and the Nico, which I would bet is going bot.
Yeah, this is bot lane Nico and mid lane Renekton in my opinion. They'll round out the comp with a range top laner for Zeros, would be my guess.
Well, I mean, Kiaya did play a mid laner last game.
That's true. But he's still best on Renekton, 4 games on the Renekton for him. And I don't really see Zeros Renekton into Jace. That's not great for the Renekton.
No, it's certainly not. I think you are quite correct. That's very likely a pick for Kiaya. With that Nico going to the bot lane onto Hugh, we'll have to see what else they choose to go for, as Gragas looks to be the jungler of choice. Had all of the jungle open to him, and he does choose to go with that Gragas. But
yeah. This is an intriguing draft strategy for Flash. They picked away the Corki. Corki blind is not really something we see too much around the world. They are trying to get the Crocodile on Kiaya again, I think.
Yeah. Also, the Elise being picked up here for Levi. He had a bit of an interesting performance in game 1, to say the least.
It's another Renekton Elise top lane.
Yeah, that's a bad time. It's against a Jace, though, this time, so he's a little bit more resistant to it than a Rumble. But regardless, still a very hard situation.
I'm a little bit surprised they want to go Elise again, and this harder top lane matchup. I'd expect actually to give the Renekton over to Kiaya and go for maybe a Cannon, maybe a Victor, something that can actually stand up to the Jace on the top lane. Ryze is okay, not great after the revert on the shield especially.
Yep, and the Slay draws a ban, the bear is out.
Oh man. Such an... that's not warranted at all.
Man. Yeah, no, he didn't play super well on it, but maybe they just don't want to deal with it in lane again. Ezreal being taken out as well. Gum does not care about Slater's Kai'Sa.
No. In fact,
I mean,
it seems
why
like
would
they
you?
want to have Slater play the Kai'Sa again, which,
Yep.
considering his win rate is now at 20% after the last game, fair enough.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, he didn't actually look terrible on Kai'Sa. He had a decent score in the end, had some very big plays. Galio?
Yeah, this seems to be Slay's fallback support.
Yeah.
Played 3 Galio games last week, and Galio will be absolutely dead with the next patch. So,
Absolutely.
last opportunity to pick him up.
Yep, hopefully we can see some flash W's. We'll put a montage together with My Heart Will Go On over it, because won't be seeing that for a little while. Tom Kent
What a
looks to be the
weird
pick up
change,
here.
by the way. Why? Why did they change
I
that?
think the reason they're doing it is because they're going to do that, he'll be dead, and then they'll buff him quite considerably.
And
for-
he'll lose
in
one
other
of the
ways.
best and the most hype mechanics of his
Yeah,
kit. That's so
I mean, at
sad.
this point, keep the visual update, keep Justice Punch and revert his kit to pre-rework.
Yeah.
It'd be more interesting. But
I actually
Tom
like-
Kent,
Yeah, go on.
yeah, Tom Kent's picked up here, and as well as that Kai'Sa, and I almost think Slater's been a little bit baited on.
Yeah,
Like-
definitely looks that way. They ban out all the other ADCs he has played and 2 supports to force him on a not so great bot lane. I mean, Tamkench Kai'Sa is no slouch, but they can't really get lane control. And as we predicted, this will be a bot lane Nico. Aatrox for Xeros or Kiaya? That's actually an interesting question. Kiaya has piloted both champs. What would you think? Where does
I mean,
the
I
Aatrox go?
think I always favor Aatrox top. I think he just does a little bit better in the long lane, but it certainly could be either. And based on summoner spells, I'm cheating a little bit. I think it's going to be Renekton top.
Yeah, I expect Renekton top just because I think Aatrox loses both matchups anyway, and Renekton into Jace is not great, but together with Elise, I think Renekton can do more than he could do in the mid lane against the very safe Corki. So, just looking at the kill opportunities, I think Renekton top is the better choice. This is a very risky draft for GAM. Those are 2 losing solo laners. That's not usually what they want to go for.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Might be their own fall, actually. If they are able to come out on top in those lanes, I think they are by far the best team. That is a
Absolutely.
little bit of a class difference. If you can get out of the Renekton Jace and the Aatrox Corki matchup with Elite.
Oh my god, that plushie's adorable. That Artoy is so cute. I want one.
I mean,
Uh,
maybe they can give you one. Just show them
Yeah.
more footage and then they'll send
Exactly,
you
I'll-
out.
Yeah, no, I'll just pop over to Vietnam. No worries. I'm Australian. Not too far away.
That's a stretch.
Why not? Just a little bit for a nah. Just pop in for a day.
Worth. That's when you've called
Totally.
Worth and all chat.
Exactly. Absolutely
The
worth.
global League of
But,
Legends
yeah.
all chat.
The hive mind that all LoL players are connected
Yeah.
to. It's why we all want to kill ourselves. In all seriousness, back to what you were saying. You were making a very good point before I completely derailed the car. If GAM can win these solo lanes, that's such a huge boon for them, and it absolutely just says, hey, we're the best team.
Yeah, absolutely. Think about Zeros back in, first 2 games in the league, two times Renekton. That's such a warm welcome from your coach. You're going on stage as a top laner facing different champs, and he gives you Renekton 2 times. You're feeling great.
Yep.
That's super
Espe-
nice.
Especially when you're getting Renekton, who is a priority pick for your mid laner.
Yeah.
So they're trusting him with Renekton duty, despite the fact Kiai is probably sitting there like, Yoshino, come back so I can play my croc.
Yeah, very true. And we've seen a lot of a drop in priority for Aurelia after Yoshino's out.
I mean, she was
Another
banned.
interesting rotation.
She was banned both games, so.
Oh, Flash banned her both games? Okay.
Yep.
I did actually
Flash banned.
not really catch that. Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
ignore
it's
that point.
okay. It happens.
I was so
We watch a
focused
lot
on
of
GAM's
games.
bans in that game.
We watch a lot of games. They are. It's hard to keep track sometimes. Don't worry. But yeah, Aurelia has been banned, so no picking on that one. I mean, it would be interesting to see if they want the Aurelia as much, because she's not quite as early aggro as they're enacted. It is quite different.
And I've seen a lot of Zero's Aurelia games. I'm not the biggest fan, I have to say. He's very aggressive on that champion. I
Are we
think
dwelling?
sometimes a little bit too over-aggressive.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a very good observation. Is my stream frozen, or are we dwelling on this stream
No,
for
we're
quite,
dwelling on Yijin.
quite some long time? Yijin, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a good-looking guy, looks very menacing there. Not sure how much there is to... I'm not sure how I feel about the trend of like trying to make gamers look like badass and scary. It's just like, what's wrong with just standing there with a smile, maybe doing some finger guns?
Especially look at his arms once again. Today
Exactly. He's not. He's looking like a little bit of a chicken wing there.
It's like,
not that I can talk.
Come at
I'm
me.
not. I am not. I'm not a big guy by any means, but well, I am a big guy, but not the right way. So, just to let the viewers of the stream know, if you get in contact with the VCS and get us official access to the lobby,
Oh, no.
etc.
Here we go again.
There is a. I'm bringing this back on myself. I already regret bringing this up. The reward will be me doing a Gragas cosplay on stream. So, but one of the, I've already clarified one of the skins where he's got a shirt on. No one wants that. No one wants the
not a
alternative.
lot of skins remaining, right? Usually
I mean,
Gragas
Gragas
doesn't really
Esquire.
work. Oh yeah,
Gragas
that's a great
Esquire
skin.
he does.
That's a great skin.
The Arctic skin
It's
he does.
almost a little bit too great a skin. That's not a punishment, really. We need
I
the
mean, he
super
does
fan
look pretty
Gragas.
good. I mean, look. Let me put it this way: if we get access and we also end up doing the Spanish final, then I'll do super fan.
That will be super fan Gragas. It's a skin in League of
I have
Legends.
to get someone. That is a skin in League of Legends. I love it. It's such a good skin. I love silly skins. Hopefully we don't have the return of the tech issue here, because we've already had quite a bit of a delay to the start of game 2 here.
Yeah, sadly, once again, looking at a little bit of a pause at the start of the game. At least we're done with pick and bans, so that's the first step.
Yeah, we are taking this step by step. Oof. So,
Yeah, that's a little bit of a resonance leaper here.
yeah, just a little bit.
Taurus seems to be very bored. Look at him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
He's not
blame you,
having fun.
Taurus. I'm pretty bored as well. This is a bit interesting. We've already sort of done a lot of the talking about things that we really want to talk about. So,
Yeah, I mean, we once again have Renekton Elise on the top side. We all know where that is heading. I think the bot lane with Nico once again coming in. Nico Galio doesn't strike me as the greatest synergy bot lane ever. That being said, Hugh has been great on Nico. Actually, one of the champs he has played mid and bot this split already.
Yep.
I think they could actually try to do something on the bot lane as well. A lot of CC, E from Nico into Galio, Flash Taunt, into maybe Cocoon as well for an early kill to accelerate the lane and set Slater behind. Could be one of the ways they get ahead in this game. Don't think you can really do too much with your solo laners, especially in the early game. What's Aatrox supposed to do into Corki? Suffer, but what else?
yeah, that is absolutely just have a very bad time and try and catch some farm. But it is not going to be much fun. Are we going to be getting into game here?
Yeah, it looks that way.
Damn, I just pulled up the mega thread of 914 bugs, and I was going to go through some of my favorites, but never mind. We can do that if there's another tech pause.
So, in 5 minutes probably? No. Let's not curse the stream. Let's see if we actually get a game of League of Legends right now. Looks good. And look
Yep.
at Zeros' summoner spells. That's
No teleport.
Ignite,
That's
top lane.
bold.
Yeah, that's Zeros for you. He wants to win this game, and he wants to win it quickly.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, that's just Zeros. He wants to stamp his authority on the league once again. I'll have to make the casters a little bit more quiet, because they kind of throw me off here. I want to hear Everyday's voice and nothing else, as always.
I'm so touched. This is going to certainly be an interesting top lane here. I don't like this, because this isn't actually a winning top lane, right? Like,
Yeah, it's a little bit confusing. Oh, they actually spot the invade. Now they're in
Oh,
a big
here comes
advantage.
the invade. Absolutely, but they're taking so much damage. Yijin as well. The flash W actually misses there. Taurus flashing away. That ignite coming in a little bit clutch.
And this Renekton is going
that's
mid lane. So it's actually teleport top lane. Yeah, Kiyaya's going top. He's a top laner, right? So why not? Interesting.
I'm very confused.
I'm even more confused why we would not play Yoshino on this game if you just put the Zeros in the mid lane.
I mean, I guess you can't make subs after you draft, so
I guess, yeah, that's true.
maybe that's why. But why not just put Zeros on Aatrox?
I mean,
Like,
Kiaya has
Kiaya-
been great on Aatrox, so...
Yeah, but Kiai has also been great on mid lane
Yeah,
Renekton.
that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. Look at this, once again, interesting setup. Levi starting W, so full damage, not going for the CC. They relied on Slay for the CC.
Yep.
But I believe he landed the W, because the Aftershock triggered, and Aftershock only triggers if you hard CC someone, so...
True,
It
so
looked
it
like he didn't
must
land it, but I think he landed the stun, in fact, or the taunt.
Yeah, I suppose you are quite right that Aftershock wouldn't have procced if he didn't hit it. So my mistake there, everyone. But as we look back in on Zeros in the mid lane, I'm even more questioning the ignite in that situation. Like, you're not killing Corki.
Yeah,
What
they
was
look
it?
for 2v2 skirmishes. I think it's less appalling than in top lane. Top lane would have been a little bit weird. Look at Levi. Levi is
Absolutely.
losing the trades. Now Zeros is
Yeah,
here.
he did. He copped the bop. Oh, wow, the flash from Hugh, but he misses. Good taunt there out of Slay, though. Knocks up CBL. He pops those shields. The Corki is here, has TP'd in. Zeros taking so much damage.
Oh, no.
Slater just trying to walk through the team. Slay's gone down. Levi should be going down next as he tries to just buy Hugh time to get away. Hugh stopped walking for a second there, and Corki's got a triple kill.
Yep, that's a strong Corki. We once again see an accelerated Corki, and both top laners don't really know what happened to their teams.
My sleep schedule. Poor
Oh
sleep
man,
schedule.
what was that play? Why did they attempt that?
That was horrific.
The flash
That was
E from Hugh, not as fast as the Lux light binding it is called. So maybe playing a little bit too much Lux and underestimating the travel speed significance.
Yeah, absolutely. A big shame. If that E had hit, things go very differently, I think.
Yeah.
And so we are going to have to see how GAM can bounce back. They're already behind 1.2k here.
I think they just
feel like-
completely underestimated Corki's TP. Corki's
Yeah,
porting back right now, so they still have a little bit of time. 4 more seconds, and now
Yep.
Corki is here, and Slay... I mean, he hits a
So
lot
much
of
damage
CC,
into the
but...
bench.
Yeah,
I
the
think they
Corki
put too
damage
much
is
damage.
insane. Look at that. The E from Corki
Oh.
is just hitting everyone.
Up in the top lane, Taurus nearly dies, sort of out of nowhere. I'm not sure if that was a true 1v1 or if there were junglers involved, as we didn't see the start of the play.
I think he
But, I mean-
overextended to make a gank happen and ate a lot of damage. I think that's what happened there.
Yep, Levi looking to come in mid here, but he is sitting on a control ward, so probably nothing happens. Corky just a bit too safe. But, oh god, Zeros must be hating life at the moment. Double
That being said,
buff,
he's
3-0
doing great in
Corky.
terms of CS. Look at the CSing.
Yeah, I think some of that was he was even before the play happened.
Oh, that's
so
right.
we'll have to see if that kind of grows now that Corky is so accelerated. That said, I don't think Corky has spent the gold.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. This is
Yeah,
actually a
he's
great
1,000
opportunity.
gold.
Wait, it's only
But-
500. He has to have spent the gold.
Yeah, he has to
Interesting.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot coming out of the triple kill. Only makings of a Phage. Kind of surprised he doesn't go for the coal, so indicating that he wants to scrap and skirmish early on.
Yep. Yujin looking for the bot lane, but once again, control wards are key. Clears that one out, but the gank will be thwarted this time. But, look at also, speaking of the bot lane, look at the CS.
Yeah, Yulwei has really
This is a
struggled a
real
lot after
bad
investing his flash.
Absolutely. Those 3 assists as well, helping Kaiser out, getting to an early pickaxe. And I don't want to call it too soon, but we might see a different Kaiser build this game, maybe.
Oh, what is that? That's a mana crystal right there.
Yeah, that's a mana crystal on a Kaiser. I'd be so happy.
Yeah, that would be
Make
a
up
great
for the
gift
tech
to
forces
the
later.
overwork you probably have to do if Slater carries this game and we go to a third game. Delayed by another 40-minute pause.
Yeah, absolutely. Zeros is so deep here. It's just gone in on Taurus. Has not used the stun. Oh my god. Very hard to track what happened there, but looks like Taurus got away on single-digit health there.
In the meantime, though, Flash going for the bot lane play with the dragon. Very nice early dragon, especially against the mage in the bot lane. You never want to give up the Ocean Drake. That opens up so many 1v2 scenarios where Hugh is just freely clearing waves while Slay is roaming. So, great job for Flash.
Yeah, overall, this has gone massively in Flash's favor. They got the Jace Flash, but didn't actually get any gold out of it, except for 1 turret plate for Kiaya. That was traded for the Ocean Drake and 2 turret plates in mid, so the math's pretty easy on that one. Not worth it. So
yeah, exactly.
Have to see how they go. Kiaya, so deep here, just goes in on Taurus, manages to get 1 sweet spot off here, but look how far he is behind the towers here. This is such a ridiculously aggressive play, and Tankench is teleporting in. Taurus is dead! And CBL came in alone. Yijin's here now, but Kiaya will get the res. He's gone as soon as he comes up. This is
Kiaya and top lane plays on Aatrox. Wait, what?
Well, Yijin's taking a lot of damage.
This is... Yeah, Kiaya has those Aatrox mechanics downs, and now look at the top lane disadvantage. GAM once again actually is successful in accelerating their top laner. This seems to be the best thing about GAM.
Oh, and then a dive in the bot lane. Sorry to cut you off. Slater's in a lot of trouble here. Does manage to dodge the Nico ult, and Tankench is here. The Abyssal Voyage, as well as Taurus. This has gone all wrong. Hugh's gone down for the second time this game. Slay's going to be cleaned up second. Hello. Oh my god, Zeros, what are you doing? But Optimus is going to go down. Zeros lives as well. My god, it's a bloodbath all across the map. And Slay did get cleaned up there, down bot. We have a 9-kill game in 9 minutes. Gotta love it.
Yeah, we get paid back for all the time we had to wait in the pause. We get an action-packed early game. And yeah, that was an insane dive from Zeros and Levi. Those 2 champs are just made for diving. At the same time, Hugh and Slay trying to capitalize on the roam from CBL. Sadly, Slater outplaced them there. Sadly for GAM. Slater with a very good showing on his favorite champ, redeeming himself for the first game.
Yeah, and here's this replay of the top lane fight. This was really well played by Kiaya. Yeah, I'm not sure. It must have been a flash forward. Right? It has to be. No, did he not flash?
What?
The Deathbringer stance. Just the Deathbringer stance just destroyed him.
Yeah, the extra range on the ult actually completely caught Taurus by surprise.
Yeah.
Big mistake against the Aatrox. And as a top laner, you should never fall prey to something like that. You should be aware of what Aatrox does.
Yeah. Oh, and sorry to interrupt the cast here. Just getting word from the studio. Patching through to me. Yeah, that's right. It's time for everyday Kaiser build check-in. I'm Everyday, and I'm here to check in on Kaiser builds. Now, we have a bit of an interesting situation here where Mana Moon has actually been bought. So we don't really know. We don't have protocols for this. We don't have protocols for Slayer building Mana Moon. This is untreaded territory, but the one thing I do want to assure you is this is actually a good build. This is the correct way to play Kaiser.
Wait,
and I'm
let me ask you again. You're praising Slater for his build?
I am currently praising Slater, and this was also pretty sick. Like, while I'm praising Slater, I'll double down on it. That was sick.
Yeah, that was a very good outplay.
Yeah.
Made possible by the extra mana on his build? No, that's not the case.
Absolutely, of course. Yeah, no, that's entirely the case. Would have died if he'd been going Stormrazor. No, it didn't make a difference in that one, but this is so much better than the Stormrazor for scaling. I'm really glad someone has hit Slade on the back of the head and said, mate, wake up. Build right. Nah, this has been everyday Kaiser build check-in. My God, I'm happy. I'll sleep well tonight.
Thank you very much. Oh, but Kaiser's still haunting you, right?
Speaking of which, yeah, absolutely. But it'll be good dreams of Kaiser tonight. Speaking of being haunted, though, I think Taurus is haunted by a certain spider and a certain demon. He's 1-3 at the moment. This is going really badly. And we said that should GAM win these solo lanes, we think they're the best team in the league. Aatrox has a 40 CS lead.
Yeah.
And
Zeros no idea what that actually happened.
And Zeros is even with a Corki that got a triple kill at like level 3.
And they get the first turret.
Yeah.
Wow, GAM. GAM is good.
GAM is playing so well. Yep, GAM is good.
Just full stop after that statement, I think. But they still lose the mid lane inner turret and are still in a gold deficit and will lose this turret, possibly?
Yep.
No.
In the end, they do manage to stabilize, but it's very low, so not going to be too difficult to rotate around.
Yeah, I think GAM has kind of stabilized the game, has staunched the bleeding quite well after the early bot play around Dragon. And their solo laners have looked very good in this game again, especially Kiaya, top lane, with his Aatrox, good outplays. That being said, a little bit on Taurus as well, looking a little bit unfamiliar with the Aatrox mechanics, which should not be the case.
That's a little bit unforgivable. Yeah, Aatrox has been meta for so long now. This isn't being caught out by an off-meta pick. This is meta as meta can get. That ult, little bit late there, just gets Levi towards the honey fruit a little bit quicker. Thanks, Yejin. What a nice guy.
Yeah. The animation there looked very, very silly. Like the Zac Aram animation. If you ever played against Zac and Aram, you probably know what I'm talking about. He's running at full speed out of the bush. Very, very surprising. And yeah,
Zac is a goofy champion. I love it. I do hope we start seeing a bit of Zac in pro play at some point.
It will probably still take a little bit of time until he is back into the meta again.
Yeah. I mean, they reverted his ult, so that's good.
Is it? Not
yeah, that's his ult.
It is for a pro play.
I mean, his old ult is much more fun.
It's more fun and it bounces more. I mean, it's literally called Let's Bounce.
Let's Bounce,
still called Let's Bounce? I'm not sure.
I hope not, because he had no bouncing.
Bounced once.
True, he did bounce once. But now down in the bot lane, Zeros did take a lot of damage there from Slater. Slater is actually hitting very, very hard. He's 104. He's doing very, very well here. He's 40 CS up on Hugh, his lane opponent. That matchup has not gone very well for GAM. Sort of as expected. We didn't expect it to be this much of a deficit, but we did expect the Nico to lose lane. So
very, very true.
Not the worst thing ever.
So it's pretty much a race between Optimus and Slater against Kiaya at this point. Sounds like a little bit of an advantage for Flash, but Kiaya's advantage in the top lane is quite significant. and we have seen him carry games on the Aatrox. So he might still be able to turn this one around for GAM. Looking at the later stages of the game, which scaling do you like? Which team do you favor?
Absolutely Flash.
Yeah, Flash's comp looks good.
Absolutely Flash. They have such a good late game comp. Because, and I hate to harp on about it, but part of the reason they have such good scaling, in my opinion, is because of the Kaiser build.
Yeah, you get to harp on this a little bit as you finally get to be very happy about this
it
Kaiser build.
matters. It really matters in this game. Like, if he had gone Stormrazor, the Stormrazor build falls off after 3 items. This way, he doesn't fall off. It's good.
Kind of depends on what he's going for. If he goes AP after this, I'll be a little bit disappointed. Because I think he should be the main AD threat in this game and go for crit. You can still go crit with the Manamune as well. We've seen many people go for AP and the Nashor's Tooth as a third choice. Let's see what Slater goes for in this game. What would you like?
I think I prefer crit, but I don't think it's egregious to go AP. I think it's I think crit is a little bit better just because I think you scale harder, and I think reading this game, you're not going to win, at 25 minutes against Kiaya, who's playing like this. So I think you do have time to scale into a bit of crit.
Yeah, but and I also think you don't rely on burst trades, and AP Kaiser is more about burst. This Kaiser has the time to stack up her attack speed, her Rage Blade, get the passive going, and rely on the crits to be a strong double AD carry backline. You have a Crocodile in the enemy team that's not accelerated, that will fall down to the crits, to the single target damage.
Yeah, I mean, like the crit. That Crocodile will get absolutely melted. That'll be a very, very, like, going into double ADCs as Renekton when you haven't been accelerated at all is pretty scary, not gonna lie, but Kiaya is the real main threat here for GAM. He's had such a good game, but his lead isn't growing at the moment. That is something worth noting. He's obviously still very far ahead of Taurus, but he hasn't gotten further ahead.
Yeah, the big problem for GAM right now is the Renekton. That is absolutely useless. He doesn't even have one item finished, and I don't like this build adaptation. I mean, I like that he doesn't go for the early acceleration build, which is Spear Surgeon, but he already has one Black Cleaver in his team. I don't really think you need to go Black Cleaver in this case. Maybe try to go for a little bit more of a tanky build. That's not great on this particular champion, but Zeros has to find something to play around, because right now he's just falling farther and farther behind compared to the Corki. This is a problem for GAM.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this comes back to some very interesting choices in the champion select. We did question why you picked 2 losing solo lanes. They proved us wrong and showed that one of them's not a losing solo lane, but we were still half right that the mid lane matchup was going to be very difficult. So
yeah, the mid lane matchup we didn't anticipate as mid lane matchup, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we have to get, look, man, we control the narrative. We admit that. The big question here is, how do you engage if you're GAM?
Yeah, I mean, it has to come from a flank from Kiaya combined with a Zeros flash.
Oh my word, Zeros just dies!
Yeah, that's not
Slater just kills him under tower.
Wow, CBL contributed with taking the turret aggro and then took his hands from the keyboard, let Slater do the work, and just stood there laughing at the turret as the time came. That's a great feeling.
Yeah, that is an inner bot tower taken. This is really strong out of Flash. They're looking so good here.
Yeah, they've gone back to their Slater please carry us ways, which seemed to be successful. They tried to play around him last week with the Tristana Karma comp that worked pretty badly for them. They actually didn't do anything. Fell behind in terms of ADC scaling against the Zaya, I think it was.
Yeah, I think you're right. Well, I mean, the big problem here, and he has also worth going. He is going Nash's too, so not quite the build we personally would favour, but I don't think it's particularly egregious.
No, it's still a good build. It's still 3 evolutions for the Kaiser, which is super great. The champ will be very strong on 3 items. And if Flash can now make this game around the next 2 team fights, this build will pay off for them.
Absolutely. One thing to keep in mind that getting 3 evolutions on Kaiser is actually more important than some people think. Because obviously, champions have a power budget that's how they're balanced, and part of Kaiser's power budget is all 3 evolutions, so it's good to use all of them. Obviously, the W is the least important, so some builds don't get it and don't really care, but I do like builds that get all 3.
Yeah, it feels very good as a Kaiser player, right? Because you get to use all your improved abilities. The W in the late game actually can help you spot out the enemies, scout in the enemy jungle. You get cooldown refund on the evolution, which is great for team fighting as well, if you stay a little bit farther back. You can look for picks, W into ult as well.
Totally, yeah, it's super strong. And we've seen that Slater likes going for the aggressive ult plays. So this build certainly enables that. As the Nash's Tooth is now picked up, he's now a 3-item Kaiser. He is miles ahead of Hugh, and I mean, he's miles ahead of everyone.
Yeah. The Flash really should try to utilize this particular item spike right now. Look for maybe a team fight around Baron. Maybe they want to wait for the next Mountain Drake to have a little bit of a faster Baron. How good is this item build from Kaiser against Baron? Usually Kaiser very good at securing the Baron.
Very good against Baron.
Yeah.
I mean, crit is as well.
But the extra max health damage helps a lot, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, extra attack speed as well, like stacking up that passive. It's very... Kaiser's just really good against Baron. Zeros a little bit caught out here. Should be able to E over the wall. The Grand Entrance will come in as well. Does get the knock up onto Yijin, but it doesn't matter because he just didn't touch Optimus, and Optimus absolutely shreds him. Slater goes into the belly. Taurus is here. Hugh goes into the stopwatch, should be able to get the ult off, but it does not matter. Slater ults forward here. Little bit ballsy. Has to end up flashing back.
Yeah, Kiaya has lost his ult as well, so he will go down as well. Very good play from Optimus. I really liked how he just turned around and called the Zeros' bluff. Said, okay, you're a Renekton, but you're a 0-1 Renekton, and I'm a 3-1, now 5-1 Corki. I'll just blow you up, and he absolutely did. As Taurus dies for absolutely no reason, but Levi and Slay in a bit of trouble here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Optimus very low here, so Levi certainly backs himself, but yep, that is the missiles coming in, looking like a bit of nuclear war, and also Baron being picked up on the back there, just duoed by Yijin and Slater.
This looks like a blowout. Flash looking strong.
Yeah,
in game 2.
I think I'm going to have to go just apologize to my bed because I'm going to be late tonight. Because it looks like we're going to 3. Yeah. This is a good game, though. This is a very fun game. Yeah, Zeros, you're just... Where are you, mate?
Optimus...
He's just...
Yeah. That's
Well,
not
let's just play up here with
Slater.
I didn't see this play.
No, this is
live?
just happening live now.
Yeah, this is live. Slater is caught quite badly, and he's dead.
Very good flash Q from Kiaya invested. I like that one.
Yep.
They get the kill on Zeros, which is okay, I guess. You need a little bit of items on Zeros.
It was a shutdown as well. I've come to learn that Chum Dut, which I'm sure I'm saying wrong for anyone that's Vietnamese that's watching, does mean shutdown.
Yeah.
I figured that one out from watching. I'm sure I'm saying that horribly wrong, but phonetically that's what it looks like.
I mean, if you ignore all the little things that are on and below and beside
again,
the letters.
Phonetically, look, give me a break, all right? I'm dumb. The only other language I speak is German.
I mean, yeah.
Even then, not well.
The Vietnamese is really big
Yeah, it's
Mr.
very
Season to
different.
me, yeah, it's hard to understand what's going on in that language. I have absolutely no idea.
Exactly. Once you start getting us Anglo-Saxons into Asian territory, we look a little bit like Kaya does, because he was a bit lost. Got barreled into the middle of the enemy team and instantly died. And this is going to be an inhib now. Gum in a bit of a sorry state. Whoa, Optimus just packaging across to the mid lane. Wants to get that push going early. Pretty smart there. I really like it. It could be 2 inhibs. And
that trail is more powerful than the Equalizer, so that's a very good tool utilized by Optimus. It slows harder than the Equalizer. I think the damage is also similar, so super strong tool from the Corki.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're pushing for the end here.
Yeah, not even 27 minutes. Woohoo! Hugh is gone. I think Gum is gone in this second game.
Gum is gone, yeah.
And will they bring in Yoshino? That's the real question for Game 3, after Zeros showed a little bit of a weaker performance in this one.
Maybe? I'm not... I mean, it's hard to say, really. Zeros trying to do something here, but, I mean, he's just running out of base. Preserve that KDA, man.
That was a little bit of a Darien reminiscence play, with the golden crocodile coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. But Game 2 goes to Flash.
Surprisingly. What happened to GAM in this game? The one really big fight they botched down on the bot lane was very crucial. They got the bot lane ahead. Hugh didn't find any real footing into the game back. Slater and Optimus seem to discuss something with very stern faces. What's going on there?
Yep, just... Why aren't they running Yoshino? This is ridiculous. How are they letting us win this one?
Yeah, I mean, this is a super important series for both teams. Both are looking at a 5-2 record. Whoever wins the third game will tie low key for 5-2. So this is very important in the playoff race. And GAM looked like the strongest team the last 2 weeks. They are 4-0 in terms of series in the last 4 series they played. First series, Zeus is back in. You really don't want them to lose the first series with their star player. That would be a really big bad sign for Zeros.
Yeah, absolutely it would. I'm not sure. Do you run Yoshino in Game 3? Like, I presume he's like ready to play, but
I mean, I think right now Yoshino is the better player, so why not? But
I agree.
maybe they practiced more with the Zeros, knowing that he could play this week. Maybe they don't have any scrims on Yoshino right now, which then I think Yoshino's not the right one to come in. It's a hard call to make.
It's very difficult. Like, we can speculate all we like, but we don't know what the sort of
Zeros to play.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Yoshino, but I expect Zeros to play.
Yeah. So, I mean, going into Game 3, we just need to see cleaner in general. We just need to see cleaner league, I think. It's very difficult to make predictions.
Yeah, I think one thing Flash has consistently shown us that they're super good at closing out games. Their game time average before this series was 28 minutes and 1 second, stemming from a lot of their wins where they looked super clean, they got an early advantage, and they are the best mid-game team if they are ahead. We talked in the first series today about QG, and they're very good mid-game, but I think Flash is even better if they get out of the laning phase ahead or even. So GAM needs an early advantage. That's really important for them.
Absolutely. So, the next important question, MVP?
Slater? CBL?
I think so. Yeah, I
Maybe
think it's Slater.
Optimus, actually.
Yeah.
What about
my vote personally goes to Slater because he built the right Kaiser build and I think it paid off.
Yeah,
but
he had a very good bot lane outplay. Yeah, I think I'll agree with Slater, especially looking at the laning performances. Optimus had a good game, but he got the free triple kill and didn't even extend his lead into the lane. Zeros are still even in lane, so not the greatest laning play from Optimus. On the other side, Slater absolutely murdered the bot lane from GAM. So yeah, I like Slater as well.
Yep.
First MVP this week for him. And now sitting at 3 MVPs at our stream. Yeah, and we'll be back in 5 minutes and 30 seconds for the third game to see which of those two teams can actually catch up to Loki and tie for second place and conclude the first round robin with a 5-2 score in terms of series. Stay tuned.
G'day everybody, we are back for Game 3, the unexpected Game 3 here between GAM and Flash. Exciting times here as we head into the tiebreaker, the absolute slobber knocker of a series. I think I brought this on myself because I do remember earlier saying, hey, we want to see 3 games. Well, something I didn't bank on was a 40-minute pause.
Yeah,
Hell
that
yeah.
was a little bit unfortunate. Look at the
So,
stage, Flash is still not there, so maybe they will now get punished, like Loki was in the first series, for showing up a little bit late. That was harsh.
That was really harsh. Losing 2 bands for the whole series is absolutely brutal.
Yeah, if you want to watch a series where all the OPs are constantly open, because both teams actually don't have bans, go watch the first series of the day. I'll upload that later on the YouTube channel. You can find the link to the YouTube in the description of this channel. So go watch our previous casts if you want. And all the week 4 casts will be uploaded there as well. As you see, Optimus getting away with the MVP. Look at the score. We actually didn't take this score into consideration.
It's true, yeah.
And as always, the official broadcast has the score marked as the most important statistic, giving over the MVP to Optimus, which is fair. I think Slater and Optimus both performed greatly in the first game.
Yeah, I agree. Going into Game 3, what do we think needs to happen for both teams?
That's a good question. I think the Jace priority pick actually did a lot for Flash, even though Torres didn't look too great on it. It forced Zeros on the Renekton and he went mid, which was a little bit surprising. Yeah, I think maybe Jace prior pick can do a lot for GAM as well. Try to deprioritize your bot lane and play around Zeros and Kiaya. We actually have not confirmed if Zeros is in, but I think there would have been a pop-up, right, if Yoshino was subbed in here.
Yeah.
So it's probably Zeros for the third game as well. I liked the Niku priority in theory. Last game was not the greatest for Hugh. So maybe go back to Lux, try to secure Lux. Lux was banned out. Overall, I think Flash actually adapted very well in draft and challenged GAM, which is nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, they took him to him, so...
And there Zeros is, so Yoshino is still sitting on the bench. We don't get to see our favorite top laner so far. Zeros is in for the third game. We see a little bit of motivational clapping for the side of GAM, and they still seem to be enjoying themselves, so hopefully we get to see a little bit of a better performance from GAM in Game 3.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely hope that. Looks like coming in here, the ban strategy is looking pretty similar here for GAM, banning out the Xayah. Irelia banned out from Flash as well.
Yeah, Xayah, Kaiser, Yuumi were the bans in the first 2 games for GAM. Irelia, Heimerdinger, and Lux in the last game for Flash. Let's see if they want to continue on that trend. No, it's actually Jace. So now we might get to see a Heimerdinger. Might get to see a Heimerdinger here.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question about is Flash scared of the Heimerdinger? As GAM goes for the exact same bans, they ban those 3 champions every single game.
Yeah, this is a better ban. I really like this.
Heimerdinger's open. Yep.
Heimerdinger is open, that's true, and they still have a 100% victory win rate on the Heimerdinger, but
the one thing I don't want to see is a first pick. You do not need to first pick Heimerdinger.
No, yeah, absolutely not.
Never getting picked by Flash.
I agree.
But
yeah, I don't think GAM will go for the first pick. Yeah, Renekton's a better first pick.
Is Heimerdinger better than Nika for you?
That's a good question.
Because both of them are open.
You know, we might actually see Heimerdinger and Nico picked up. Maybe Kiaya is able to play the Nico. She should be. She's a little bit of a top lane champ as well.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Looks like we might see a Corki again, as we love our Corki games today. Optimus picking that one up again, a nice stable mid laner.
Yeah, and he looked great in the last game, so why not go for the Corki again? Optimus struggled last week, didn't really find his footing, especially struggled a lot against Artifact on Loki's side in the last series of the last week. Gragas seems to be a high priority counter pick for Flash, not letting Levi have his Gragas.
Absolutely. In fact, he's the highest priority jungle according to Flash.
Silas is still open.
Looks like they might pick the Kaiser away. This has been the one ADC Hugh has played.
Yeah, that's correct. So Heimerdinger not picked in this draft. I'd like to see Silas picked up here for Levi. I think it will get banned if they don't go for the Silas. And already Gragas secured for the enemy team, so you already have one very good teamfight ult to go to. Nico's not a bad choice either. But if this Nico gets picked, that's Kiaya's Nico. That's
It's gotta
new.
be, right?
That's very new.
Interesting adaptations here from GAM. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about it, honestly. I think Kaya does so well on aggressive champions. He played so well on Aatrox last game.
Well, wait, maybe it's actually Zeros' Nico.
Maybe. I mean, I think Kaya's having a better series.
So would you like to have him on the Renekton then? Or on the Nico?
I think I really would rather Kaya on the Renekton.
Top or mid?
Mid.
Mid. I
And
think
then
mid lane Renekton will struggle into Corki.
Yeah, that's true, actually. I think.
Oh, that's
Yeah, I
the
think you said
Volibear ban
Kaya
again.
top. That's so stupid. What did I do? That's so dumb. Slay didn't do anything. Like, that Volibear game wasn't that scary.
No, he really didn't do a whole lot. But if Slay is able to pull 2 bans as well, that's wow. That's a good look. Jungle Kaiser, I think Jungle Kaiser is very unlikely. Levi has played a game of Kaiser actually in this season, but not jungle. He actually played bot lane Kaiser. And
Please don't remind me of that game.
Please never do that again, Levi. You don't want to see
That was
that.
really bad time.
Yeah, that was the very first game for the GAM this season. I think it was against Loki actually, and they got stomped.
Wasn't it against FTV?
No, they
No.
lost both series in the first week, so
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
beat
you're
FT.
right. Yeah, I think you might have been against Loki. You're right.
Oh yeah,
ADC
we
bit.
get to see that one again. Nice. Flash wants to lose this draft.
I mean, Elise hasn't been picked yet. In fact, she's banned, so they can't do Elise Renekton again. So it's not going to be exactly
still
the
triple
same.
AP topside. Yay.
Oh, right, of course. I didn't notice your boogeyman there. We've got both our tropes in this game. Love it. We both get our bit of a meme. As Silas and Galio look to be the pickup. Galio, has been noticed,
Silas pick.
has been... Yeah, I completely agree. Silas is a fantastic pick here. Galio as well does seem to be Slay's fallback option when he's got nothing else to go to. Just grabs the Galio, does what he can.
And if you look at the bans, is Levi's Elise more scary than Levi's Silas? I really don't think so. That's a little bit of a curious ban choice. I think Silas should have been the priority ban. Whoa!
Whoa! Welcome to the League of Draven.
Ooh, Draven coming in for the 80 damage. If this Draven is behind, this game is just over. Flash has absolutely nothing to do if this Draven is behind.
But I don't think he'll get behind in this lane.
No, the lane should be in his favor. Galio does not really deal with Draven too well. He can push out the wave at least. And early trades for Kaiser. I mean, Kaiser into Draven generally is not great, but
No.
I think
And
she can kind of survive.
melee support. Yeah, but the melee support, that's going to be bad time for Slay. He's going to get some axes to the head.
Yeah, think about this. What this indicates for Flash. They are putting all their eggs in the Slater basket. Slater is the star player for this team. And yeah, why not go for the Draven on Slater? I still hate the triple AP topside, but with this draft they've said, okay, we don't care for topside, we will only focus on bot side. You show us your ADC, and we don't think you're good enough on Kai'Sa to withstand Slater's Draven.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a super bold pick, and this has to be the first Draven we're seeing in this split.
I think it's the second, no?
Have we seen a Draven?
I think there was one Draven before.
I will find
Maybe
out.
I'm mixing games. Definitely
Possible.
the same for the first for Slater, right? Has he played
Absolutely.
Draven before?
I don't think so.
Let me check. No Draven here. Let's look at the overall VCS statistics for ADC. There has not been a Draven this summer so
No.
far.
No,
First Draven game.
Interesting times here in the VCS.
I mean,
We're gonna have to see how this goes. As,
Draven is
hopefully we get in game.
always very swingy. Why do we always get a pause before the game starts? What's going on there? Maybe they have to remake the draft. There were a little bit of drafting problems in other leagues as well, so seems to be on the client maybe. The infamous client.
Yeah. This is.
How do you feel about Draven? Do you like Draven as a champion?
I think he's one of the coolest designed champions in the game. Super flavorful. His kit is fun.
If you don't
It's
happen
strong.
to manage him in Teamfight Tactics in a full Imperial
Oh,
comp.
Hey, he got nerfed. I'll have you know. He's still completely broken, but yeah. In Teamfight Tactics, RFC Draven will cave you in. That's not a good time. But in Summoner's Rift, I think he's one of the fair. He's a fair champion, right? Like, yeah, he deals a lot of damage, but he has to work for it. And like, he has counters. He has counter play as well. I think he's super good. I love him.
Yeah, it's super interesting to follow Draven in competitive. Of course, Draven matches in certain leagues are really shaped by the players. For example, you have the LEC, where there are a lot of Draven players, which leads to Draven bans actually being a very common thing, especially against Misfits and Vitality, because their ADCs love to play the Draven. Other leagues never ever play the Draven. He seems to be a very well balanced champ, and good Draven players are very scary. I think Draven is one of the hardest champs in the game. Maybe the hardest, actually.
One thing I will say about good Draven players is never go to the Draven main subreddit, because that looks like if Al Qaeda had a subreddit, that's how they talk. Okay. It is a scary place. It is genuinely terrifying. I visited there once when I was playing Draven and was frightened.
Okay. What exactly was going on?
I mean, let's just say there's a reason that when he was really toxic, Tyler 1 played Draven. It just seems to attract that kind of person.
Yeah, I think he's one of those champs. You need to have a certain personality type for Draven.
Yeah.
I think you need
to
feel the league of Draven to play Draven.
Exactly. I do genuinely think Draven has two of the best skins in the game.
Which are?
Draven.
Oh.
Which is just so good. And the one where he's a caster.
Oh yeah, that's a great skin.
I like that. Such a good skin. The voice, the VO for that is hilarious.
I actually played a little bit of Draven a few seasons ago. I'm not an ADC player, so I'm not a good Draven either. But he's a lot of fun. Once you mastered a little bit of the X mechanic, and by no means I have not mastered everything about that. I'm not here to claim that. But it's still very satisfying to play around the axis, and you know where they're going to bounce, but the enemy doesn't. And yeah, great champ design.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've played a fair bit of Draven. He's not my main ADC by any means. When I play ADC, I typically go Kai'Sa. That's why I do
What
the
a
Kai'Sa check-in.
surprise.
Yeah, I know, right? It's almost like I care about the champ. But I mean, I don't play much ADC at the moment. I'm basically a Mordekaiser one trick. I do really like Draven though. He has like little tricks as well. Like there are certain, if you stand in the correct place in the Dragon or the Baron pit, your axes don't move.
Yeah.
So you can just stand still. So knowing that, you gain a lot of DPS. You like ease up your APM a little bit. It's very good. Knowing how to run around and use your axes in a team fight. Remembering to press W every time you catch an axe as well. Because it resets. So he's got quite a few mechanics. I really do think he's a fantastic champion.
Yeah, and you have the E as well. It looks like a very basic ability, but you can actually cancel almost everything with that E. You can cancel J4 engages if you time it correctly. You can cancel things like every dash basically if you time it correctly.
Yeah,
it's a very
absolutely.
powerful ability. Undervalued a lot.
That it is. As the new water bottles are being brought out here by the referee, so we might have a little bit of a wait.
But now you get the time to tell us about your favorite bugs, because we have another pause and we have not touched on the best bugs from 9.14. You already hyped this up for a little bit of
I did. Well, the best 9.14 bug, and I've already mentioned this to you, Yulwei, is Pyke can kill his teammates with ult.
The only thing I really want to know is, does he get a double cut for that? I mean, does he get double gold from killing his teammates? That would be hilarious. Are you still here with us?
Absolutely, I'm still here. I'm just having a gaze through these bugs here.
Oh, okay.
Zed as well just doesn't do damage.
Yeah, that's curious to me. I don't understand what happened there.
Yeah, Zed doesn't do damage. That's a good one. Not sure how they spaghetti coded that one.
Imagine playing Zed the day after the patch hits. You're in the game, feeling yourself, going into ranked. Have not read any patch notes because you're a Zed main. A little bit of shade to Zed mains out there. That's probably true for every Zed main.
I think they managed to turn ranked off fairly quickly, but
that's true. Okay, yeah. you're a normal gamer. That doesn't really matter because you're a Zed
main.
But
in your normal games, that would have definitely been confusing.
I now want to see a clip of a Zed standing there and not dealing any damage. That must be so frustrating. Is he able to damage the minions?
I have no idea. Confusing. I don't know.
Like imagine he just clears minions for a few minutes and then he tries to go for a trade and nothing happens.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. Maud ult is just completely broken. It breaks half of Summoner's Rift apparently.
As is tradition.
Yep. Varus W every now and then just stops stacking, and the only way to fix it is to buy a Runans. Sure.
What?
You don't got to buy a whole. Yeah. His W just stops.
What do you mean?
But if you buy a
stops, it doesn't do anything.
It stops stacking. It stops stacking.
Where? How? Why? Riot,
Riot?
It's such a weird bug. How does that happen? It's really confusing me. I bet various players probably don't even notice that bug because they're thinking, okay, I deal less damage. I have no idea why, but I guess I deal less damage.
Get down. Hello?
What else do we have? Another interesting one to fill in for this gap here?
Yeah, I mean, it's a long list. It's about, this list I have is 70 bugs long.
Solid. Almost a quarter of old Mordekaiser bugs.
Fun fact about that. In the Mordekaiser AMA, after the new release, someone said, how was it like dealing with how buggy Mordekaiser was? And they said they literally just made him as a new champion. They didn't use any of the code from the old Mord, and that before his rework, Mordekaiser was responsible for 80% of League of Legends bugs.
Yeah, there was the very famous book about all the Mordekaiser bugs. But look at this. We're actually in game. We might get you to sleep at maybe 2 a.m. Looking at the current trajectory.
Yep.
Yeah, finally into the game. The early game will be focused around bot lane. I'd expect Zeros this time running the TP, so going for top lane Renekton. 3 games of Renekton consecutively for Zeros. This time into Rumble again. I expect a lot of top lane focus, like in the first game. GAM absolutely capitalized on the Rumble Renekton matchup very well in the first game. Let's see if they can repeat that success. They have Silas Renekton, still a very good diving combination. Bot lane needs to be very careful though.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be an interesting one overall. But really the question comes, do you play around the bottom lane if you're Yijin? Do you try and get the Draven ahead, or do you let it do it itself?
That's a good question, actually. How easy is it to gank as Yijin in the bot lane? I actually think you should probably try to get an early kill for the Draven. That being said, it's not that crucial to get Draven ahead early on. Let him stack for a few minutes and try to go for maybe a dragon fight, where you let him cash in 1,500 gold with his passive.
Yep. Get that League of Draven going, and it does look like they might... Ooh, wow, no. Levi instantly wants to... Yijin just went in for this. There's so much vision. This was so risky, Yijin. You're just going to get punished. He goes to flash, but the flash follow, and oh no, Hugh gets first blood. Yijin, what are you doing? But Slay now gets hooked, and the Draven damage can begin. Bang, he picks up a kill. Oh dear, boys, oh dear.
Both ADCs coming off of this play with a kill. And now the jungle matchup should be... Wait, did Levi go down? No, he didn't. So Levi should be ahead now on the jungle 1v1. That being said, Yijin with the very fast respawn timer at level 1, already back into his jungle, but he needs his top laner to assist him. Look at that, Torres coming back into the jungle to help Yijin with a Crux. Level 1 Crux, that's never something you want to go for.
Absolutely not. He's taking a lot of damage. Has to use that smite there just for the health. And now we see that Slater damage coming in just absolutely... Remember when he had a bleed?
Yeah, that was not great.
That was a little bit broken.
He
ought to attack you. He ought to attack you once in one lane.
Yeah, he was unbeatable in lane. Draven, before the rework came in, was absolutely unbeatable in lane. I think there was not a single matchup that won against Draven. Nowadays, there's Lucian. Lucian is good into Draven. Ashe can be good. She has to be careful. Caitlyn is okay into Draven. But yeah, there's some good champs into Draven. But before the rework came in, he would just outdamage everything. 1 Q would deal like 140 damage accumulated with all the spills.
Yep. It was pretty absurd. But now we do see a very interesting situation developing here. Like, Kiaya just feeling so confident here, just goes and gets that deep vision, spots that the Krugs are gone. They know they should be able to get a pretty good read on where Yijin is now.
Yeah.
So,
Levi still has a full topside jungle available to himself. He doesn't go for the bot lane scuttle. I think he could have gone for bot lane scuttle, and he should know that there's nothing available in the topside jungle for Yijin. So this is a very confusing in wait. What is Levi actually looking for?
What is he looking for? Just
Levi,
deep vision, I suppose. Levi.
Oh god. He wasted so much time.
This is bad. What are you doing, Levi? I mean, he'll get out safe.
Insanely far in the jungle matchup. Look at the experience lead for Yijin. Yijin will probably hit level 5 off of this camp or the next camp, while Yijin is still Levi is still struggling to get level 4.
Yeah, I mean, that's not ideal. Considering the start that these junglers had, Levi should have been catapulted to a pretty strong lead, but he's just sort of misplayed this a little bit. I'm not sure if there was just indecisiveness. I don't know what he was going for.
Yeah, look
with
at the
that
CS
invade.
as well. He has fallen
Yeah.
behind very far in this jungle matchup. His pink ward, insane waste as well. He didn't even clear out the enemy pink ward because he was too scared of Taurus's roam and Optimus collapsing as well. So he
I
wasted
also
the
don't
pink
think
ward.
he noticed. Like it took him so long to even notice.
Yeah, it was very weird. They pinged out the pink ward in the end, but it was already too late because he left. Levi with a very iffy first few minutes on the Salas. He now needs a kill to get back on track. I think they should probably go for a top lane. Dive, maybe not dive, maybe just a gank. And look at the bot
Yeah,
lanes
I mean,
you
I think
see,
it's
the
interesting.
CS.
Yeah, I mean that's Draven right there. Oh, Zeros choosing a really bad time to go in here. Has a jungler to contend with. Does get a nice heal there. He's going to try desperately to kill Taurus, but no. In the end, it's just not quite good enough.
I'm not too sure if Zeros needed to go for the play. Once again, showing his over-aggressive nature. He was criticized a lot by Vietnamese fans and international fans as well at MSI for his over-aggressive play. We heard statements from players like Rune, the new top laner for CLG, formerly with Fenerbahce, who said, I've never played against this aggressive a player in my life. This is the most insane player I've ever played against. And insane was not really a compliment in that statement.
No, it was not. Sometimes he does lose his mind.
Still winning the CS. Look at the CS advantage in the top lane. What's going on? Taurus has not looked great in this matchup. Usually the
Taurus has got to connect to the server.
Yeah, Rumble should not fall behind in the 1v1 against Renekton, or at least not 40 CS. That's unheard of. Usually Rumble is actually pretty good in the Renekton and the 1v1.
Yeah, exactly. He can definitely hold his own.
At the same time, bot lane is falling farther and farther behind. Slayer dominating the matchup there. A lot of defensive summoner spells set up for flash, double cleanse on their ADCs, though not the greatest amount of gank opportunities for Levi. You really should look for a top lane gank. He's still not level 6, so I fully expect him to go for the top lane play once he hits level 6.
Yeah, absolutely. That is what we should be seeing. It's almost a little bit... It's just so difficult because Levi seems to have just misplayed this early game so hard that it's difficult to see where he's going to use his first points of pressure. He has hit level 6 now. It looks like he's actually heading towards the mid lane. Maybe just because Optimus has moved into the river.
Look at Optimus. He's running over heal as well, so sitting at 200 more HP than the health bar shows. He has cleanse and flash available. Valkyrie on top of that. There's no way they can kill this Corki.
Absolutely not. And with Yijin in a bush in the bot lane, observers, please, they just went in. This is happening in the bot lane. Slay's going to go down. The League of Draven may eventually be cashed in. There it is.
400 extra golds. And another plating for Slater. Sadly, not a single plating gold, but it's still 80 gold in his pockets. So now this should be enough money to go for the early Bloodthirster. Hugh and Slay will not appreciate that item. Bloodthirster on the Summoner's Rift. Oh, hold the thought.
Oh, as Hugh throws himself forward here, Slater may have been a little bit too over-aggressive as the interesting little status test. He does flash forward, procs that. The equalizers everywhere. Crosses are formed. Hugh will get cleaned up. CBL unfortunately getting the kill. Yijin now really low. Does get cleaned up. Support's getting kills all over the place.
Oh, man. Overextension by Flash. And Hugh actually gets one kill back, but it's all to get attention away from Zeros, who gets more alone time in the top lane and will work on this third solo plating. Look at the CS disadvantage in the top lane.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the fact of the matter is that despite the extra kill and the farm advantage in the bot lane, it's actually a gold lead for GAM. This is
That's
one
with
of the
2
biggest.
kills on the Draven. He cashed in for
Yeah.
400 gold with the last kill.
Yeah, this is one of the biggest slackings I've ever seen in a top lane, and it is not a matchup that should go that way. This is horrendous for Taurus.
Very good flash from
good
Slater
flash
in this
from
play.
Slater, but-
I like that one. Hugh doesn't get the last auto attack because Slater is faster with his W. Has to flash for that one. Now look at this hilarious doubles rumble.
Gotta love it. Yijin takes so much damage from
What
it as
was
well.
that
Does
flash, Yijin? That was
sure
so
what that
unnecessary.
flash is. Yeah, and it causes his death
Yeah.
there.
Actually, not only unnecessary, it's straight up a bad play. Yeah, you're right. By the way, we should probably sync back up because I think you're a little bit behind. I'll stop
Okay.
at 11:05.
All right. 3, 4, 5.
Okay, sorry for that. We should be fine.
Sorry about that, everyone. Tech issues seem to be plaguing everyone today, and it does look like Dragon will be started here. There's no vision for Gum, so there should be a free Infernal Drake picked up Flash. I think
Yeah, they
we need
utilized
to
their botline
see.
advantage, and now
was
Eva
bad.
is here.
Here comes Levi. This should be a very, very easy kill onto Taurus. It finally goes down. Is Levi picking that kill up? And I was about to say, I think we need to see Levi snowballing the top lane. And as I was about to say it, he went in.
Yeah, and
Which
he
is
actually
very-
saw why he didn't want to gank top lane right now, because this kill was not as easy as it should have been, because he was not able to steal the ult from Taurus. There was still the internal cooldown on the stealing part of the ult from Silas, whatever it's called. So you have a specific cooldown for every champ, and Taurus's ult was not available to him. So that was actually a dive without ult for the Silas, which is not great. You want to use your ult, obviously.
Absolutely. But look at the amount of pressure this Draven's putting out. He's gotten 3 turret plates already. Yijin coming in for the dive. Hugh's going to get knocked up. Should get the belly slam soon. Oh,
Whoa.
that actually didn't kill. In a lot of trouble now. Yijin, that was so well played by Hugh. Using that ult to dodge everything. Stopwatch does absolutely nothing. 600 gold down the drain. And what a turn. Hugh with the sick mechanics.
And look at the map. In the meantime, Zeros has cleared up the top lane turret, and Gam actually up to a 1.5k gold lead. If you only look at the bot lane this game, you would think Flash is very happy with how this game has unfolded. But there's a top lane on the map, and Zeros has absolutely
Yep,
murdered
absolutely.
Taurus.
Yeah, he certainly has, but we have to wonder how long can the massive lead that Zeros has continue to snowball? He's not going to be able to catch Optimus here, unfortunately.
Very sad crocodile there. But he got the flash, and they get more platings out of the mid lane. Levi, I should say, has the Eye of the Herald. But look at Kiaya. Oof. Another turn of events.
Yeah, this is such a strange game compared to the last 2 games that we've had. It's a completely different kettle of fish.
Yeah, it's very high paced. Both teams know where their strengths are and are playing around them, and the enemy team is not willing to overcommit to the weak side. So we actually see a lot of kills and objectives falling in this game, because both teams are keen on playing to their strength and don't cover their weaknesses, which leads to a very open, very scrappy, skirmish-heavy game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the point I was making before that fight broke out in mid is that, yes, Zeros is insanely far ahead, and he is pretty much the entire gold lead for Gum. But we need to see that lead used to potentially get the rest of the team ahead, because in the end, it doesn't really matter how big your Renekton is if he can't 1v5, if you know what I mean. Especially because look at the bot lane.
Yeah, Renekton actually not the worst champ into Draven, I think. He's pretty good at locking up Draven. It's not like he has to play against the Kai'Sa who can just jump away. So at least he has the easy access into the enemy backline. Slater knew what was coming, so he went with the Cleanse. Very good choice for Slater. But Cleanse and Flash will only be available every 5 minutes, so they definitely want to play around Slater's cooldowns in this particular game.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, just getting word from the studio. Yeah, it's been a big night here for the boys in the the tech lab there. Just it's time for everyday Kaiser item check-in. I'm everyday, and I'm here to check in on a Kaiser item. That's a Stormraiser. Not happy. Slater did last game, did well, and we've got another Stormraiser. Taurus is also dead. He's as dead as this build is. Thank you. This has been everyday's Kaiser check-in. Don't build Stormraiser.
Thank you very much. Slay with another play, as I probably have to cover the next one. What's actually going on the map? Bot lane in a turret has fallen down. And this is a pure chaos. This game is devolved into a little bit of a very early scrap. Split pushing Draven was there for a few seconds for Flash, and when split pushing Draven is coming out, you know the game is a little bit of a clown fiesta.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Also, this Draven is just so ridiculously far ahead.
Yeah, there are two items on Draven and no item on Hugh, or no useful item on Hugh, so a little bit of a insurmountable lead, you would guess. That being said, look at Levi's item compared to Yijin.
Yeah. It's sort of a game of pretty big leads all over the place, right? Like, top lane is heavily in Gum's favor, bot lane is massively in Flash's favor, so we just need to see who can use their pressure points better.
Yeah, this is the best kind of League of Legends game, because if you have a teamfight comp on both sides and one teamfight comp is ahead, the game most of the time is very uninteresting, because the better teamfight comp with an advantage just wins. This is an intriguing game, because we have a gold lead for GAM, but we'll have to see if they are even able to utilize this gold lead, because as you rightfully alluded to, there's a really big divide in strength, and where the strengths lie for both teams. Jungle and top in the advantage for GAM, bot lane heavily in favor of Flash. Mid lane is a little bit more even, slight advantage to Ki, I would say. Earlier item timings as well. Yeah, looking at the gold, he is 800 gold ahead of Optimus, but Optimus obviously on the higher DPS champ overall, so that can swing around as well.
Absolutely. It's super difficult to call who's going to win any individual team fight, because it really just it comes down to execution. If Xeros is able to get on top of Slater, I think I favor him winning that 1v1 just on merit of it being renekted. Something else to put in mind is that if you look at never mind, as it is a fight in the mid lane here. Lots of people taking damage, but no one dying yet. Ooh, bad W there from Hugh. Does get cleaned up. Slater will get that one. Oh no, Levi is in a stopwatch. That's not going to do a huge amount. I tell a lie. It gets him a kill. But that is a 3-for-1.
Yeah, the first big team fight in favor of Flash. Oh, they'll get another kill on Kiaya, possibly.
Ooh, no, not yet. They will get one on Slay, though. Hopefully they give this over to the Draven. They do, and they end up getting it in trade for CBL's life, but that's completely worth it. Draven picks up the double kill.
Oh, God. That's very fat Draven. Sitting on 3k gold after this fight, so that's probably 2k from this one fight, which is not great if you're looking at GAM and how they want to win this game. Okay, Slater didn't want to follow. Fair enough. He can port back wherever he wants, because he can probably 1v1 everyone on the map.
Yeah. Fun fact, Draven was the second champion in the game with a recall animation.
Oh, that's a fun fact.
Yeah, Darius was first.
So Jace was the 100th champion. I think Darius was something like 93, 94?
Something like that.
Okay,
yep.
Interesting. That's where it all started.
Yep, Darius has like a really minor one where he lifts his axe and Draven points to his base. So yeah, just a little fun fact. As we hit a little bit of a lull.
That's super nice.
Yeah, I know very random things about League, but not enough to be a color caster, so it's good that you're here. But we hit a little bit of a lull here.
A lot of color considering the Kaiser, right? That's
I wish we didn't. I wish I didn't have to do what I do.
Yeah, looking at the overall game state right now, the gold has completely swung around. Flash now with a 2k gold lead, 2 dragons,
Yep.
next Infernal will propel them even farther ahead. The only thing GAM can really hope to achieve now is probably pick on Slater. Flash is down, and they have a good cask on
Oh, here comes
Levi.
the engage. CBL throws his hook forward,
Yes.
sets up that barrel. There's a huge equalizer as well. CBL is getting cleaned up. Slater is taking a lot of damage, but he's not dead. Now he is. This should be an easy cleanup here for GAM. Oh, never mind. In the end, it is in fact Flash doing the cleaning. I may have gotten my team colors wrong there. My mistake. Slay, he's going to delay the inevitable, but this is another team fight win. That's the ace.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if they can pick up Baron.
GAM would win the team fight after picking Slater off, but they invested everything to get Slater, and they're still the equalizer. They're still Corky with a lot of AoE and DPS. So this is a real big problem now for GAM. I don't really think they can win team fights right now. They have no armor on their Renekton, the strongest member of the team. He got all the plating gold. Their Kaiser is not even a champion compared to Slater on the Draven, so don't go for team fights right now. Try to go for one-on-one advantages. This one is a good attempt.
He's getting massively caught out though, as he just gets bound up by the Nico ult. The Nautilus ult is a valiant attempt, but it's not going to be good enough. A point I wanted to make before the second round of fights broke out is that one thing to consider is that on the side of GAM, the champion that is so far behind that they're basically not a champion is a Kaiser. Kaiser from that far behind isn't a champion. Rumble is still an equalizer.
Yeah.
So here we see GAM. I don't like this. They're fighting under towers. I don't know if they're strong enough. Slater is not dead yet. He's got a bloodthirster. But it is the double kill picked up here for the Kaiser of Hugh. It's actually a pretty close fight at the moment. 2 for 2.
Yeah, it was a very confusing fight.
Here comes the Predator. If Yijin can slow them down, Slater's coming in. Bingo, bango. That's Draven going 10-2.
Oh my god. Slater wants to get another MVP. And it looks very good for him right now. That was a super interesting fight for GAM, because as you in the cast already alluded to, I didn't think they would come out on top in the fight, but it actually looked quite decent, because they managed to get Slater off the main fight and gave their ADC enough time to actually get the damage done. But in the end, Slater was still alive and could catch up with his team, and they won the fight, and now will profit with another Baron. Or the first Baron, I should say. But Yijin...
Yeah, Yijin throws himself in, but goes down now. And this is very interesting, as it looks like this will be another fight win here for Flash. Depending on what happens here, it's actually a little bit tricky to follow.
Yeah,
Slay does go down. This is now the triple kill Slater. This could definitely be a penta. I don't know if Hugh will give it to him now, though. As Levi gets cleaned up, I think he might have taken... No, he did get the quadra. Can he find the penta? He's got, what?
30 seconds.
15 seconds until there's a respawn.
30.
Spots Hugh.
Oh, there he is.
Isn't it until someone respawns?
Yeah.
Isn't that how it works?
I'm not. You get a 30-second timer. I'm not sure. Maybe it's with the respawn coming in, reset again. But it doesn't really matter, because he can't get the pentacle either way.
Yeah.
This game might just be over. But I don't really see GAM winning any teamfights anymore. At least they stopped the Baron. But look at Slater. He's 14-2-5.
Absolutely
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
Ever kill this one?
Look at his gold. He has
gold.
16k gold. He has 16k gold. That is ridiculous.
It really is ridiculous. Look at his items. This is the one time where I'm okay with utility items on an ADC, because he's so far ahead. He already got all his damage items, so yeah, give him the GA. And this GA might be a little bit like the Teamfight Tactics PBE GA that didn't get to life, because it was absolutely ridiculous. Once Slater gets out of this GA, he's probably 1 star higher. Unit.
Yep. Absolutely. And Levi throwing that copied Gragas ult just to buy a little bit of space, and they just want this Baron. This Baron gets go down so quickly.
Yeah. And Levi needs to stop utilizing the Gragas ult. He
Oh,
needs
there's
turrets
the
to
hook onto Hugh. This is pretty bad here, but does use a very good stopwatch to buy some time. And now the damage is coming in for Gum, but it's not onto Slater. He is literally the only thing that matters. He's in there, the axes are spinning, he's chunking everyone that he hits out. Hugh gets a double kill, but unfortunately it just doesn't matter because the damage is not on Slater.
That was a very bad teamfight from Slater. He was way too conservative, way too defensive in this teamfight. He has so many great defensive tools in his build. He should just frontline on this Draven, to be fair. He could go down once. I don't understand what he was doing there. Completely misreading the fight, giving Hugh once again too much time to get his auto attacks, to get his stacks on the... what's the item called? I completely blanked out. Rage Blade, yeah, that's right. On the Rage Blade going. Oh, GAM actually wins the fight. All the odds were in the favor of Flash. Yeah, I don't really think this gives GAM anything, really, because... That's the 700.
This is so much damage. Oh.
Yeah, Slay does not have fun. He's supposed to be a tank, or at least a tanky support, but Draven will 3-shot him.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 with a crit. It's a bad time as Baron is just absolutely melting. There's no chance of really anything. Zeros gets hooked there, should be able to get locked up enough for the Draven to arrive, and bang! That's another kill.
Yeah, this game will not last that much longer, I think. Very surprising showing for Flash and Gum. Gum will once again go back to the drawing board, will end the regular season, or not the regular season, the first round robin, I should say, at 4-3, which is probably better than they expected, considering their star player was sitting out the first 6 series. That being said, the first series, Zeros
was playing.
Yeah, that's very true. Zeros not in, and they will lose the first series. Zeros is in, so...
Yeah. And, I mean, Zeros had a good performance this game. He got miles ahead in lane, but unfortunately, Slater got even further ahead.
Yeah, and I like what Flash did with the draft this game.
Oh, well done, CBL. CBL's been hitting some really good hooks, and Kiaya just stops existing. They just need to find a way in here. This is absolutely game. This will be the final push. Slater is untouchable.
And while I say I like the draft, I really don't like the triple IP topside. As always, I hate that.
Yep,
but
absolutely.
I like the bot lane draft. Going for full pressure.
Yeah, I mean, Slater just whipping out. Apparently he can play Draven. Interesting, to say the least. And this will be Flash taking the series here over Gum, putting some doubts to bed about this team.
Yeah, and tying for second place now with a 5-2 score. Very disappointing series loss last week on Sunday against Loki. We thought they were the better team, but they lost to Loki in 2 very convincing games in 2 and 3. Loki looked like the better team. Today, Loki surprisingly falling to QG. And now the second upset of the day, with Flash beating Gum. Gum with their supposedly star player, Zeros, coming again. I mean, they didn't look bad. What do you actually think of the performance of Gum?
I mean, I think they performed okay. I think they got a little bit bitten by how sometimes they don't quite know what they're doing in the mid game. Game 1, they didn't suffer from that too much, but I think we saw that coming in game 2 and 3. Also, I think Levi had a really bad day.
Yeah, and Hugh not going for his Heimerdinger in the last game really did not help them. I think the Heimerdinger was the better call. They wanted to get Slater off his ADC, his most prominent ADC, but they ended up getting absolutely murdered by another ADC, and I really don't understand why you would take away Kai'Sa from Slater. In the end, he's a very good ADC player. He can probably play more ADCs. He just showed that he can. Yeah, I think the Heimerdinger would have been the better draft. Go for the self-sufficient bot lane. That's the key to victory for Gum.
Absolutely. I mean, I think they would have rathered the Kai'Sa than that Draven that came out.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with the first game performance from Slater, I should say. Slay's on the other side as well. Didn't look too great. The second game was a very good Kaiser performance, but in the end, Slater is the star player from Flash, and Slater is supposed to be their best player. He should be the one performing. You cannot count on him not performing if you take off a few ADCs you don't like to face. In the end, he'll probably still find the champ he can play, and he absolutely proved to be capable of doing that.
Yeah, I completely agree. Overall, very good performance from Flash. Showed pretty good versatility. I think all of their players had different moments where they were the focus. Obviously, that last game was pretty much 1v9, but
yeah,
sometimes that's just how that happens.
And I think the other players facilitated him well. I think Torres had an off game, but yeah, he was just an old bot in the later stages, as you rightfully called out. Much more useful than the behind Kaiser on the Rumble in the top lane. And we have CVL being a very good laning partner. Still to Slater, we have kind of praised him a lot in our broadcast, not actually giving him a single MVP, because most of the time when he does well, Slater gets the MVP, because he does even better. But he's a good support.
Yeah, I mean, that is sometimes the problem with support. If you play super well, that makes your ADC play even better.
Yeah.
So,
and he does his job.
Bit unfortunate. Absolutely.
We also have to comment on Optimus. Looking back at last week and now this week's performance, already looking way better. Optimus back on form, and Flash back to being a contender for the title.
Yeah, absolutely. That was evidently it was just an off week, and this is much better. Just so much better out of them. They looked really good. Optimus had a much better time. Flash, I mean, are they back or were they never gone? Who knows?
Yeah, and now they are sitting at 5-2, tying for second place, as I said before. DBL is the one real happy team today, because they didn't play, but all the results went in their favor. They're sitting at 5-1 and facing FTV tomorrow, so we can almost lock in the 6-1 already. That means they still come out on as the number one from the first round robin, which is exactly where they want to be, as the previous dominator. And we have a 5-horse race for the 4 playoff spots, which is hype.
Absolutely. Before we go just too far forward into thinking about the future, I think we both know who MVP was in that last game.
I think there is no discussion to be had.
Yeah, I mean, we may as well just say it. Obviously, it was CBL. No, I think it was Slater.
Yeah, Slater with a great performance.
Yeah.
And looking at tomorrow, we have FTV against DBL, as I said before. That should be a very quick and fun series to watch from a DBL perspective. Not so fun series probably from the FTV perspective.
Yeah.
Maybe Rika can challenge Razor, who has looked a little bit off. Might be his last week, actually. There's a lot of hype for the trainee top laner who might come in. Pan is his name, I believe. He will turn 17 in a week. So he might come in the 5th week for DBL. This week is still Razor there. And then the second game will be Cerberus against EVOS. EVOS needs to win this one really badly to still be in contention for playoffs. They've fallen out a little bit, only sitting on 2 serious victories. They need that 3rd one tomorrow to even be in the race.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if this is the tone that's set for the rest of this week of games, get keen, guys. Tell your friends to come watch some VCS.
Yeah, this was a super great day. A very long one, and that's why we don't want to extend it too much longer. We need to send every day to bed. His bed is already missing him. So,
I'm a sleepy boy.
Thank you all for joining us for this great series, and see you tomorrow, hopefully, as we're back with 2 probably a little bit more lopsided series. Still fun to watch, and yeah, 18, 2, and 7.
What a ridiculous game.
Have a great day. If you want to check out the VODs or just joined us once again, check out the YouTube link where I'll upload the 2 series from today as well. It will take a little bit of time because this second series has gone on for 3 hours and 14 minutes, which will takes quite a while, I should say, to upload.
Yeah.
And see you guys tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.